You are watching live from Texas Stadium here in Wimberley, Texas, where tonight your Navarro Panthers will take on the Wimberley Texans. Stay tuned for the Panther pregame show next. You are watching Panther football on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse. You are live here in Texan Stadium here in Wimberley, Texas. My name is Lance Blackburn. I'm play-by-play here along with the Panther analyst and voice of the Panthers, Hank Dieter.
Woo! Yeah, we're here.
It is 78 degrees outside, winds 9 miles an hour out of the south. And, man, it is a nice night here in Wimberley, Hank.
Oh, God, yeah. This is perfect night for football. If you're a football fan, this is the night to get out. I mean, volleyball is just right up the street over here for both the Texans and the Lady Panthers. So we're both, both teams are here tonight, and it's all like you said earlier this week when we did the volleyball game against Bernie. It was like this is now Wimbo week for both teams.
That's right. That's right. So let's jump into Navarro the team preview here. So we're coming off a big win to put us 2-0 in district over Gerald. And, the Panthers had a kind of tale of two stories in that game, right? We had an incredible first half, and then the second half we had some mistakes. But, like I said on the broadcast last week, I think some of those mistakes could be a positive as well.
Yes, and if you just blow a team out completely, there's hardly any coaching points that you can make other than, staying focused. Well, things kind of went awry in that second half, and we saw a quarterback from Gerald that did a very good job and getting his team, down the field and making big plays. And so it woke the Panthers up, so to speak, to say now the Panthers, as we talked about last week, now the Panthers have something to really focus on for this week.
So let's talk a little bit about this series, because this series is special, I think, for all of us. Wimberley leads the series overall, 10-9. Since Coach Blunt's been here since 2018, he's 3-3.
Yep.
So I mean, it is a tight series. It's back and forth. Going back to 18, we came here and we had a big win. We blew them out, and 19 we played them again and blew them out in the regular season. Then in the playoffs over at the Alamo Dome, they got the better hand of us. And then in 2020, same thing. We got them over at our home, at Irwin Lee Field at home. And we won 24-22, and then we went out to Bernie for the playoffs, and then they took it to us a little bit. And then last year, 2021, we lost 27-0 right here on the same field. So, this is a series that is really special to myself. But I tell you what, since 2016, one of these two teams has played in the championship game of Region 4, which is basically the fourth round of the playoffs.
Right.
So, tonight, the Wimberley Texans come in undefeated, 7-0, ranked 6th in the state. But anyways, this I don't know, Hank, you want to chat a little bit about it? You've had a couple sons go through here and play, right?
And this turned out a really good rivalry, because, early on it looked like in the first years that Navarro played them, it's like it wasn't very close. But, those were the years, and one of those years that Wimberley went on to win state. So, but then as time changes, hey, here comes Navarro, and Navarro, started to dominate in the middle of that series. Now it's kind of turned back, a little bit now towards Wimberley. And so now the Panthers tonight have a chance to just even it all up. You see it right now at 10-9 in the series. It could be 10-10, after tonight if the Panthers do a good job of containing speed and athleticism. I think that's what you're going to get from Wimberley tonight.
Well, the Panthers have won 3 of their last 4 games, and, it seems like the offensive line starting to gel. The running game starting to come together. We've got our slew of starting running backs back, Mabane, Chambers.
Right.
Bryce Nall continues to run the ball well. Landon Taylor. It's just a slew of backs that we have. And we're starting to look like the old Navarro teams that we've seen. And so anyways, we're averaging about 323 yards on the ground and 2,500 plus for the season. So, any thoughts? Any thoughts on the Panthers as far as offense goes?
Yeah, I think they have to control the line of scrimmage, and tonight, and I'm not going to give it away too much for the keys, but still they have to control the line of scrimmage and not make those stupid mental errors that, as coaches you just grit your teeth and go, okay, we can get through this. So the Panthers have to do a good job of essentially just that line of scrimmage tonight is the key, and not letting anybody come straight through that line and disrupting the backfield. They have to control it. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Right. So on the defensive side of the ball for Navarro, we forced a bunch of turnovers last week. I think 5 in total. We got a couple interceptions. We got some fumbles. We're allowing about 152 yards on the game. Per game, and then in the pass, it jumped up a little bit last week just because Gerald threw the ball 55 times, completed 30 passes.
Yeah.
But 175 yards, about 175 yards through the air. But this is a different Wimberley team, and to me, they run the ball quite a bit, and we'll get to Wimberley here in a minute. But
right.
I think if our defense cannot bend, but not break.
Yeah.
And to me, this seems really similar to the Laga Vista game.
Right. Oh, yeah. Coming into it, where Laga Vista had all the, offense, especially through their quarterback, and we see that with Stover, the sophomore tonight, that he's the one that you're going to have to contain, and you're going to have to keep him at bay. He's almost at 600 yards, just short of 600 yards on rushing, but he's also almost at 1,000 in passing. I mean,
right.
Imagine basically he's at, he's over 1,500 yards total offense, and he's the majority of their offense. So we talk about stopping Staub at Laga Vista, but you got to stop Stover tonight.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And that was, stop, and stop Stover, right? So let's jump over to Wimberley a little bit. Wimberley, is 7-0. They're ranked number 6 in 4A Division II football. Overall, they've played. I don't personally. These are my personal opinions, but I don't think they played quite as tough of a schedule as we have, considering Navasota and Cuero and some of the other teams. But their overall record of their opponents is 22-25. Our overall record of our opponents is 27-23. And but this is a different Wimberley team offensively.
Right.
And you just mentioned it a little bit, but
Sorry.
they average about almost 1,600 yards on the ground with 24 TDs, and then passing wise, they 61%, which is probably a little low for them. But they've thrown for 991 yards, which,
that was all Stover, basically.
Yeah,
yes.
in 12 touchdowns. So a different Wimberley team coming into this game. They rely a lot more on the run than they do the pass, which is usually just the opposite. So
and you're right. But their athleticism, because they're tall and lanky kids. Every time we talk about Wimberley, I always talk about they always seem to be tall, lanky, and athletic.
Right.
And so, height especially in the receiver corps, makes a huge difference. And most of their receivers are all over 6 foot. Now, there's one, I believe, that's just short of that. But the majority of their receivers will be over 6 foot, and they can catch the ball. And so sometimes it's just a matter of Stover throwing it up, and letting his receiver go and get it, just like Staub did in Lago Vista.
That's right.
So
that's right.
We'll see that tonight.
They average 40 points a game. Now, the last 2 games, they scored 73 and 63, and that really bumped up their averages, right? But let's jump over to the defensive side with Wimberley. And, I'm thoroughly impressed with their defense. Last year they graduated 9 seniors off their defense. And this year they've reloaded with another 8 seniors on their defense.
Right.
And geez, they are allowing 13 points a game, and the most points that have been scored on them all year is 28, which Lampasas did up there in Central Texas. So I tell you what, the offensive line has their hands full.
Oh, yeah.
And, what always impresses me about Wimberley is they are quick off the ball, and they get in that backfield quick. But on the flip side, if you're Navarro, if you can use your technique, use your hands, and really get back to the basics on the offensive line.
Yeah, and stay on your block. If you could get to stay on your block, you'll be there and everything else. So I guess we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And you're watching Navarro Panther football on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse.
All right, we're back here, and we're joined by special guest Scott Kibby from the Seguin Gazette. So, Scott, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a great night for football.
Oh, yeah. And it's a great night for, to play Wimberley, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, now, Scott, we have you normally join us for your fun facts with stats. So, what kind of fun facts with stats do you have for us tonight?
So I've got 2 regarding this series. One that's bad news for Panthers fans, and one that's good news for Panthers fans who come in. So we'll get the bad news out of the way first.
Okay.
Wimberley comes this game undefeated on the year. Anytime in this series that a team has come into this game undefeated, they've left undefeated. No one's been able to knock an undefeated team off when it's been Navarro or Wimberley.
All right.
Good news for the Panthers is they're playing here in Wimberley. Wimberley won here last time. Wimberley has never beaten the Panthers here on 2 consecutive times.
Wow.
So that's maybe a little reason for some hope for Panthers.
Yeah. Okay,
One of those will break tonight, and we'll see which one it is.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then, so what is your predictions then?
This is a very hard one to call because you just I don't think we know either team yet. After tonight, we'll know a lot. I don't think the coaches know their teams. Wimberley undefeated, but you're right, they haven't had that good test. They didn't play Aquero early on or Navasota. The Panthers getting back from injury, been playing a lot better, but this is what it's all about. This is what it was you were getting ready for.
Right.
So, it's the level of play, always is about mistakes. The Panthers' problem they've had in some of these games is falling behind early, getting in a hole. I think if they can avoid that tonight, it's a different game. And then finally, I just say the more physical team always wins this game.
Right.
There's never even a question when the game's over. You know which one is more physical. So they're going to, hope to be able to get to that level tonight. And we'll find out with Wimberley losing all they lost on defense. They've performed very well this year,
right.
But it's not the same Wimberley defense as last year. So
well, right, I agree. But one thing I've seen both of these teams play physical, and there's some games that nobody deserved to lose, especially that year when it went 24-22. What a tight game where the Panthers won it. But that was a very physical game, 2 years ago. So
yeah, and I will tell you that other one that was real close in 2012, the 21-20 that Wimberley won on a missed extra point, basically.
Yeah.
I went up and introduced myself to Coach Nelms after the game because I had interviewed him before, and he just looked at me and said, "Y'all should have won that game. We did not deserve to win."
Well, Scott, thank you very much. We hope we get to see you at halftime and get us some good halftime stats. I say good halftime stats, meaning Panthers have good,
Do what I
good
can.
stats. So help us out, and then we'll talk to you at halftime. And thanks for giving us those fun facts.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to jump right into the coaches' interviews. We're going to start with Navarro Panther, our head coach, Coach Rod Blunt.
Good evening. This is Hank Dieter with the Navarro Panther Network down on the field with Coach Rod Blunt, the head coach of your Navarro Panthers. Coach, thank you for joining us this evening.
I appreciate you having us.
All right, Coach. Last week you got the second district win. You're 2-0 coming here to Wimberley. You got it over Gerald. So what are the things that we could take from the Gerald game that we could bring into tonight's game against Wimberley?
I think the kids came out hot, started the game off right, getting a quick score and then getting a quick turnover and then having a good half. We got to put together a full game tonight to be able to win, and we definitely got to be better on special teams for sure, but I think it's great. The goal is to get here to Wimberley undefeated and playing for a chance at the district championship.
Yeah, Coach, and it's always exciting during Wimberley week. We actually have the Lady Panthers in volleyball, just at the other gym right now, so it's been Wimberley week all over. So I'm sure all the students here at Navarro are excited. So, Coach, let's talk about your offense. Your offense looked very good in that game early against Gerald, but and really like the way that you were able to really control the line of scrimmage. Tonight, what are you going to need to do against Wimberley? Are you going to play ball control again, or are you going to be able to try to break a few big ones here and there?
The thing with Wimberley is they always got a great defensive line that gives you problems, so we got to do a great job of taking care of those guys up front. They put a lot of guys up there, and they're all playmakers, so that's kind of what we build our team around is our offensive line, and it's going to be a task for them tonight to open up holes, and when our backs get a chance, they got to hit it and make big plays.
We know Wimberley always brings the speed, and tonight, though, you have somebody a little different with Stover, their sophomore quarterback, that has been able to go almost 600 yards on the ground, and he's almost at 1,000 yards in the air, and only thrown 5 interceptions and 11 touchdowns. So he's really a dual threat, and how are you going to slow him down along with the rest of the team?
The main thing is stopping the run game. Him and Johnny both have, I think 75 carries apiece, and both are very effective on the ground. So we got to stop those guys, make them throw the ball, but he's dangerous as well throwing the ball. And it kind of, all revolves around their offensive line doing a great job. And they have a good job. They have a good offensive line that's been giving him time and opening holes in run game. So it's big for our defensive line to have a good game tonight.
All right, Coach. Now on your, as we talked about special teams earlier, you let one or two kind of get some big returns, but not into the end zone. Some big returns with Gerald. So tonight you're dealing with a little more speed with Wimberley. They got about 3 or 4 guys back there that can take it to the house. So what do you got to do on special teams? Are you going to corner kick, pooch kicks? What do you have to do? Just good placements?
Yes, sir. We'll mix it up like we do every week. But our guys got to get down there, cover, stay in their lane, avoid their blocks, and get back in their lanes and not let them have a big play.
All right, Coach. Tonight against Wimberley for the what looks like essentially the district championship, what are your 3 keys to victory tonight?
Controlling the line of scrimmage. We got to continue to do a better job of not having penalties, not putting ourselves in a bad spot, win the kicking game.
All right, Coach, good luck to you tonight. And, again, wish you all the best.
I appreciate you having us. Thank you very much.
All right, Coach.
All right, Navarro Panther Network here. I'm here with Coach Doug Warren with the Wimberley Texans. My name is Lance Blackburn. And, hey, Coach, talk to me about the rivalry. You know, the rivalry is overall at Wimberley leads 10-9. And what does the rivalry mean to you? Because it's very, very special to us here at Navarro.
Well, to me it's pretty special as well, just because usually when we play you guys, there's something at stake. District championship on the line, maybe something more than that. It's been that way several times as well, and so there's always something big at stake. The thing that I really like about it, it's two really, really good high school football teams that take a lot of pride in what they do, two communities that are I think are pretty similar, just take a lot of pride in everything that school stands for. And then you get out there and you do things, both groups I think do things the right way, and you get out and compete against each other. And it's been, ever since I've been and we've been playing these guys, it's been a fun one, and you can always going to be a tight one, that just about.
All right, yes. And so let's talk a little bit about your offense, because it's a little different this year. Obviously, you guys do a very good job of coordinating to your talent, but you guys run the ball a little bit more than you normally do. We're usually chasing receivers down the field and whatnot. But talk to us a little bit about your special quarterback. I know he's a sophomore, Cody Stover, but talk to me a little bit about that change there as well.
Well, I think when you evaluate your season and going into your season, you got to look at your kids and what do you do well. And we lost a quarterback early in the summer that was a returner that kind of changed kind of our trajectory and what we would do. So as Cody has taken the reins of the team and just become more comfortable, then you play to his strengths. He's a very good runner. He's capable of throwing the football and beating you with his arms too. But his best strength I think is his leadership, and that's, you don't say that very often about a sophomore kid, but man, it has really shown. And so he's really just taken over that leadership role for this group. And like I said, we just play to his strengths, and if that means we run the ball more, there's nothing wrong with that. We just run it a little bit more. But if people try to stack the box, we can still load up and throw it a little bit.
So talk to me a little bit about your defense. Of course, last year y'all's defense was stellar. You had 9 seniors. They all graduated, obviously, but man, y'all reloaded this year, and your defense is you probably know better than me, but just I think there's 8 seniors there starting on the defense. And so talk to me a little bit about your defense. And like I said, very impressed. It's a reload, not necessarily and these kids have been around, I'm sure. So
they really have. And the thing for us, I believe, is if you watch us on video or you watch us live, we're going to play a lot of kids on that side of the ball. And even though we had 9 seniors that we lost last year, that some of them a lot of experience, we did play a lot of kids. We rotate a lot in there, and so those kids got some experience in some big time games. And what these guys have done is they've just decided, we're going to make a name for ourselves. And they have played lights out all year long. They've really been the backbone of our team. They have from the very start. I think they knew that offensively we might struggle a little bit with some new faces over there, and when you can play the defense, the level that they've been playing, then it makes it a lot easier on the offensively. Now we've got our hands full tonight for sure with the Panthers and the slot T. That always gives you some trouble, but really pleased with our defense and how they've come along and how they've just really kind of made a name for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Very impressed with the defense there. So let's have a little fun. What's our favorite restaurant? And I don't want you to, we're talking to the Navarro folks here, so you're not going to get in too much trouble. But if you had to pick a meal in town, what would you pick?
Man, if I had to pick a meal in town, I'm probably going to go to Hayes City Store, which is a little bit outside of town, but it's a great place to go. Great little spot. It's got great food on top of that.
And we'll finish with this one. Have you ever done the Wimberley zip line? And if you have, what was the experience there?
Man, I have not, but it is on my bucket list. I'm telling you that. I'm getting pretty old, So one of these days I'm going to retire, and when I do retire, then the Wimberley zip line is on my bucket list of things to do around here.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, well, thank you, Coach Warren. We really appreciate it. Good luck to you tonight. God bless your team, and we hope for another one. And hey, we may see you again in the playoffs. So
No doubt. I have a feeling we may do that. Thank you.
have a good night. Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Captains Bryce Nall, Landon Taylor, and Diego Chapa for the Panthers. And Hank, it looks like the Wimberley Texans will receive.
Yeah, that's
Quick keys to the game for the Panthers.
I'm just going to tell you one, or actually two: control the line of scrimmage and play keep away, and don't make the big mistakes. Don't turn the ball over.
Okay, so I think it's stops.
Oh, national anthem.
So I think two keys to the game, or three keys to the game quickly, is stop Stover.
Right.
Very similar to the Laga Vista game a couple weeks ago. Rush lane, stay in your lanes.
Right.
Keep him in the pocket. Pressure him if he's going to throw the ball, but hit him if he's going to run it. So he's a very similar quarterback to Staub for Laga Vista, but I think if we can hit him and play him hard, we can have success. If we're going to let him run wild, I don't think that bodes well for the Panthers. And then on the flip side, against the Wimberley defense, I think it's all about our offensive line. If our offensive line wants to dominate tonight, it's going to be good for the Panthers. If they don't, then I think it's going to be bad. And of course, limit your penalties and win the turnover battle. So here we go. Panthers here to set the kick off. We've got our three-headed monster of kickers.
Yeah.
And we'll see who kicks it.
Whew. Barely got that in there. All right, we're back. Hey, let's go Panthers. Let's see if they can do what we know they can do, and they have to do it collectively. It can't be by individuals. It has to be by the team.
So we do kick it. He bobbles it about the 18-yard line, and he's running. He does get outside. He's got the corner. He's crossed into the Panther territory. That's Lane Potek.
Yeah,
and a great return there for for Wimberley, all the way down inside the 35-yard line. Let's see where they mark it.
Yeah, Lane
Potek. Not the start we wanted.
I know. And Lane Potek, and he shows you that tall lankiness that I was talking about earlier, but with athleticism, even though he bobbles the ball. A lot of times when you see that bobble, you're like, oh, no, it's like everybody kind of stops for that one split second. And he took advantage of it and was able to get to the outside using his speed.
So they're going to set up shop at the Panther 32. And he hands it to Johnny Ball, who's brought down quickly. And who was that? Jacob Arias.
Yeah, Jacob Arias. We got to give him an early yeehaw. He comes in there, reads the play, and takes him down right away. No chance for a run on that one.
So Ball's going to lose 2 yards on that. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 12 for the Texans.
Loss of 2 in the play, 2nd and 12.
He snaps. He hands it to Ball straight up the middle again. Oh, he's met hard after after a little bit of a gain inside the Panther 30.
Yeah, somebody likes to hit hard. That's Diego Chapa. Comes in and lays a lick on ball. Now, 3rd down, the Panthers need to play just smart defense here. Don't give up the big play because I know Wimberley's looking to go 2 downs to make a first here.
So ball sets up. He goes out. They throw it to the right. He's got a receiver. It's a big tight end. And that is the 6'6" tight end, number 80.
That's one of the big boys.
Hanson Colley. He's new to Wimberley. And the senior, 6'6", for a first down for the Texans. And, I mean, man, he's a big target, Hank.
Oh, yeah. When you talk about Hanson Colley, yeah, and it didn't have to – you threw it up high, too. And that's what I didn't get. It's like he's already tall enough.
So they're inside the Panther 10-yard line, 1st and goal. He's going to keep it. Stover's got it, but he's knocked down about the 6-yard line of the Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers have to slow this little rush down here. This little push that's being made. Colley has, only – it really comes in with only 62 yards and 4 receptions, but when they're pretty big yardage, as you can see. 4 receptions. He's getting 15 yards, over 15 yards and a catch.
So that's 2nd and goal. He hands it to Johnny Ball up the middle. He is fighting, and he's hit there hard. Across the bow there.
Yeah,
he's hit, and I can't see who exactly that was.
I was trying to catch the Panther that came in from, I almost going to say all the way from the backside ring. Hell,
right,
yeah.
So from the 3-yard line, it's 3rd and goal for the Texans. Big play here, Pink.
Yes.
Stover keeps it. He's running. It looks like he's going to be stopped just short. Right about the 1, maybe a little bit inside the 1-yard line. It'll bring up 4th down. What are the Texans going to do here?
Yeah, I think, 4th down and goal, they're going to go for it on the Panthers. They have, an arsenal. They can go in, play action off of they can do RPO. Simply to me, an RPO would work great, but you may see the old GT play here where you'll see the guard tackle pull right across, and then you'll see the quarterback will come and follow. Now they're going to empty backfield.
So it is right at the 1-yard line. Stover, he's getting pressure. He throws it. Oh, and
there's a flag.
Oh, there is a flag.
Yeah,
he walks in the end zone. It is a Texan touchdown, but let's see what the flag is.
Yeah, it hits Diego in the back. Diego's going for the tackle and gets hit in the back and on that play. So let's see, I believe. Yep.
Yes.
So now.
Illegal block in the back against the Texans, which is going to bring it back.
Yeah. Coach Warren's going to go and bring the field goal team out.
Kick, yeah. So.
Well, the Panthers catch a break to a certain degree, but had that block not been in the back, I believe that was chopping. I could be wrong on the player, so forgive me if I am. But that would have been a sure tackle at the in the backfield. And because of the block in the back, they were able to score, but now they take it back, and here's the field goal attempt.
So it looks like he's going to set the ball at the 12-yard line, which will make it a 22-yard field goal. And he's perfect for the season. He kicks it up, and it is no good.
Wow, and I was watching warm-ups, and the reason I'm sitting here going, whoa, wow, is watching in warm-ups, the kicks that were being made from about the, 40 yards away, and then to see that at 22. Now, Panthers, that ought to fire them up. I'll tell you what, we'll give that a.
And I will say that was against the wind, because I know in warm-ups when I was standing down there about the 50-yard line, he was kicking into this other end zone, and he had stiff wind to his back. So.
Yeah, that's true. But even at 22 yards, that should have been makeable because we had our own Sam Snead kicking into the wind. He made a 29-yarder into the wind at home.
So the Panthers hand it off. He goes up the middle.
Brazen Leonard with the hit.
Yeah, and that looks like
that's Brazen Leonard and on the tackle.
Yeah, Nall did not fake out, Leonard on that tackle as Leonard made a big stop because Nall only had him to beat. It looked like everybody else went, even the camera and everybody went with the running back, but Nall kept it and was going right up the gut.
So the Panthers bring up 2nd and 10. No gain on the play. He does hand it up the middle. Oh, Coach Chambers, he's off. He's off running. He's got one man to beat who gets him, but it's not before Chambers is out there about the 50-yard line, maybe just short, but a big run, about a 30-yard run for Chambers.
We give him also a big. That was nice.
They're going to spot it at the 49. It'll be 1st and 10, but yes.
That's that little.
Great little play there.
Yeah, a little quick trap right there on that right side.
So Null hands it off this time. That's Mabane up the middle. He cuts it back, and it looks like he's going to get a sizable gain there for about 4.5 yards, maybe 5.
Yeah, and that's what you like to see. Now, the Panthers don't have to make big plays like they did on the last one in Chambers, but when you need it, you need it. That's for sure, and we did need it on a 2nd down and 10. But right now, if the Panthers could keep this 4, 3, 5 yards, that would be great as well. Keep it away from Wimberley's offense.
Bryce hands it off quickly, and they stop it right up the middle. And he's going to be stopped at a very, very short gain, maybe a yard or 2. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 5.
Man, I jinxed him, Lance. I'm telling you, I was like, 3, 4, 5 yards every play, and then we get 1 yard. Like, now 3rd down, but I will tell you, being on Wimberley's side of the field, I don't see any reason why the Panthers wouldn't use the 3rd and 4th down as long as they're going forward.
So the ball's at the Texan 46-yard line, 3rd and 5. Bryce fakes it, and he keeps it, and he is going to be stopped for minimal gain. He's going to bring up about a 4th and 4 for the Panthers.
Yeah, what do you do here? Coach Blunt is looking this over. It's like, no, I mean, the offense just stays on the field. There wasn't even anybody that looked over from the offense. They just said, okay, let's huddle up. And the Panthers' offensive line, though, has to get a little better push. They get that initial 1 yard push, but they haven't been able to sustain that. And Wimberley's doing a good job of coming off their blocks.
So 4th and 4, big play at the Texan 44-yard line. So Bryce, and it is a long.
Yeah, they're trying to draw him off.
It almost looks like he's trying to draw him off sides, and it looks like the Panthers are going to call a timeout. And you know, it seems like, and maybe this is my eye or what, but it seems like the outside is a little bit more open right now.
Right.
Than because I know in Chambers he got past the first level, he broke it outside, and he had a bunch of green grass.
It's inside out, and I think that off tackle and getting up inside, we haven't seen. We saw Mabane more run in between the tackles. Now, if we
cut
can
it
get
back for sure.
Yeah, and if we can see Mabane get a little bit where he's going to go off tackle and then cuts it to the outside, because a lot of times their defensive ends are coming up field. You'll see for Wimberley, but you know the thing I see is that the Panthers just have to play smart about it. You know, you can even try to pin Wimberley back here on a quick kick, something like that, but. We'll see what the Panthers come up with.
So we'll see. It's 4th down and about 4.
Yeah.
And the ball rests at the Texan 44-yard line.
See if we can rally the troops.
It does look like the Panthers are going to go for it. So Bryce keeps it. He does the follow. He's going to have the 1st down. He's inside the 40-yard line of the Texans.
Yeah.
And that play worked.
Yeah, and you know why it worked? Because guess who Wimberley was really looking at on that play? That was Mabane. Yeah, and so they fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And
yeah, they got to respect Mabane's speed to the outside, which again, you know, maybe that's going to open up the middle a little bit, but you're right. I mean, it all boils down to blocking up the middle with your line. So he hands it off this time, and it is Mabane. He gets outside, and folks, he's gone.
Yeah, nobody's going to catch him.
Touchdown for the Panthers. And Mabane is fired up again, and the Panthers go up early, 6-0.
Wow.
And that was a 39-yard touchdown run by Antoine Mabane.
That was Mabane going down the field. That's all you heard. So, my goodness. Unbelievable. And, hey, this is probably what Wimberley did not expect to happen that easy.
So it looked like Wimberley might have jumped off sides. The kick is up, and it is good.
Yeah, I'd
I don't
still
see
take
a
the
flag,
point.
though.
Yeah.
He got back, but
Wow.
so-
Wow, man, what a first, Yeah, I mean, we're looking here, first basically 6.5 minutes or so that's already gone by. But, man, what a fun-filled game. And we already had 4th and 4. We've had, 4th and 1 down by the goal line. And, man, we've seen it already at all,
A missed field goal.
Oh, yeah, missed field goals. This is one of those games already turning out to be an instant classic, as they would say, right?
Right.
So now I know what.
So the Panthers drive it 80
Go ahead.
yards
80?
there
Woo.
for the Panthers, and a big run by Chambers, about a 30-yard run by Chambers, and a 39-yard touchdown run there. And again,
39.
the speed of Navarro is showing up here.
Oh, yeah.
Again, of Mabane, and it's nice to see him continue his confidence.
Uh-huh.
He's had
Right.
157 yards in the last 2 games.
Uh-huh.
And
I'm listening. Yeah.
no, but he's
Oh, man.
he's proven his worth as he was back in 2021 playoff mode, right?
That's Mabane's 6th touchdown of the season.
And he's our leading rusher now.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and that was coming into this game. He took over from Bryce Nall, who
Right.
was leading before the last game. And you had both Chambers and Mabane had great games last week.
So let's see what the kickers do. It looks like it's going to be, they kick it straight up the middle. It is going to drop about the 30-yard line. It's picked up. And he does get back out to the outside again. And that's the second kickoff there that goes inside the Panther 40-yard line. And there is a Panther down out there on the far sideline.
That was Noah Birdsong with that big return, number 9.
And Birdsong is Wimberley's leading receiver. So
Yeah.
I know we didn't touch too much on Wimberley's leading receivers, but Birdsong's their leading receiver, and he's got some speed to him.
Oh,
so,
yeah. When you talk
6'3", 208 pounds, a big kid, but fast, and he
Yeah.
fits the Wimberley mode,
Oh, yeah.
right? You talked about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
tall, lanky kids.
tall,
It's-
lanky. He's
332 yards. He averages 15.8, almost 16 yards a catch.
But again, another short field here. It
Yeah.
looks like the Texans are going to set up shop about the 38-yard line of the Panthers. The last time they were at the Panther 32, so.
Yeah, and this one was, what Coach Blunt was talking about, that we cannot give up those kind of plays
No.
on these kickoff returns, and we have to do a better job at containing. Me personally, I'd kick it out of bounds and make them decide if we want to kick it over again or take it at the 30-yard line, as long as you kick it, inside of the 30.
It was a 32-yard kickoff return, so I
Oh,
agree.
my goodness.
You've got to find the gaps, and you've got the wind.
All right.
So they shotgun formation. Johnny Ball to his left side. He does keep it. He is pressured. He gets rid of the pressure. He's got it, but Bryce Nall, I think, picks it off. He does. There is a flag down. He returns it and runs out of bounds about the 24-yard line.
That might be a holding if it was called. Oh, legal man downfield is the
Yes.
initial preliminary call.
Right.
So we'll see it right here. Let's see if we can pick it up.
Ineligible receiver, downfield, offense. It is declined.
And again, I talked about it a little bit in that my keys to the game, get some pressure on
Right.
Stover, just like the Laga Vista quarterback. Get a
Yeah.
little pressure on him, and he certainly changed into a different animal.
Wow.
And he lobs that up, and Nall plays center field again and just picks it.
What a turn! What a change of events, though. How it occurred from Wimberley getting that big kickoff return. The Panthers come back, put pressure on Stover, and Bryce Nall literally takes it out of the hands of the receiver and brings it back on an interception. You just gotta love football. That's for sure.
So the Panthers set up shop at about their own 24-yard line. There is a flag. It looks like it's going to be a false start against the Panthers.
That's the one thing that we all talked about, you, me, and Coach Blunt. You cannot have these type of penalties and get behind the chains. And so now we have to expect big plays. And that's where Wimberley can just say, okay, we're going to tee off and we're going to come right at you. and try to hit every gap and play some gap defense in these kind of situations. But when you do that, this is the time where Panthers can, if they can break that seam, they can get downfield. Because you watch, Wimberley will pull their safeties up even a little closer in some of these situations.
So 1st and 15. He keeps it. No, keeps it and runs up. He's probably gonna get most of the.
Yeah, he gets
a decent part of the penalty back there, over just to pass the 20-yard line.
Yeah, he gets a couple of yards on it, but man, it's again one player away from breaking a big one because there was only one defender that makes the tackle.
There was some room there for sure, and that's going to bring up 2nd and almost about 13. It's 7-0. Navarro up here in the first quarter, 4:18 and the clock ticking.
Right.
So 2nd about 13. He hands it. And I think
Colton
that's
Chambers.
Chambers, it usually is, they cut it up the middle, but Chambers runs to the sideline.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused if they
couldn't
tell if we handed it up the middle, but he runs and he gets about a couple of yards.
Yeah. So,
but it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
So without that penalty, this would be more like a 3rd and 6, if we take that back. And so, that's how much it affects this kind of offense. Now, Panthers will have to probably put, a little trickery here to try to get further down the field on a big play.
So we do split out a receiver. He hands it. Oh, Bryce slips in the backfield. He was going to do the follow play and cut back up, but he slips. He planted his right foot, slipped down, and there is a Panther down on the play. So it's going to bring up 4th and about 11. And the Panthers looks like they will punt from deep inside their own territory.
Well, at least they made the stop though when they needed to. So, did we have any quick announcements that we needed to make? I know volleyball's playing right now, and I haven't looked to see if I got any updates yet on that.
Yeah, we could talk a little bit about sub-varsity last night. Going all the way back to 7th grade, we played in Wimberley in 7th, 8th grade, freshman, and JV. The 7th graders won at home 40-6.
Awesome.
The 8th grade B team lost here at Wimberley 28-0. The A team also lost here in Wimberley 22-8. But I'll get it back.
Right.
He snaps it, and that is Landon Taylor with the punt.
Nice
punt.
But a bad bounce.
Takes a terrible bounce for the Panthers. And Texan bounce. Wow. But it was a nice punt, although looks like Wimberley will take over on their own 49-yard line.
And one thing I didn't mention earlier in any of the pregame about Wimberley, they have, they don't have very many two-way starters at all. They generally have a whole platoon of defense and offense. They trickle in some of their, they'll have one or two, but for the most part, they platoon it all together.
So shotgun formation. Stover looks right. He throws it. It looks like, I think that's Johnny Ball with the catch. And Landry Blackburn comes up from the corner. No, that's Jack Boyle, number 24.
Yeah, Boyle makes a one-handed grab to bring that in, actually. That ball was stung a little high, but in stride as Boyle was able to bring it down. But Panthers didn't let him get a big play out of it, but they, Wimberley is content with those type of plays, though.
Looks like about a 4-yard gain, so nice play by the Panthers there. He throws it, and so he throws it out in the flat to the left side, and it looked like a good pass, but it was dropped. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 for Wimberley, just inside there, the Panther territory. So again, another big play here.
I think that was Dubichon. That was the intended receiver, and he's had some yardage as well. 140 yards at 10 yards average per catch.
They haven't targeted him too much. So
3rd
and 6. It looks like he is going to throw. He's getting some pressure. He's got a lane outside, and but Jacob Arias comes from behind. It's going to be close.
It looks like a first down where they're marking it. But we'll see.
Yeah. Real tight. Although, I tell you what, it looked like he had a lot of green grass.
Yeah.
So Jacob Arias comes from behind. and makes a heck of a tackle.
But that's what we're worried about is Stover getting out loose. And so hopefully the Panthers can contain him here.
Yeah, we had him contained on that play. He hands it this time to Johnny Ball. Or maybe Jack Boyle. Let's see.
Yeah, their numbers with those silver numbers.
That was Jack Boyle.
Yeah.
And he gets a sizable gain up the middle for about 6 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 4 for the Texans.
Well, we need Big Barry. Barry. He's playing nose guard right there, one of the tackles. And so, that they're going right at him. So let's see what he can do to make a play.
I also see a Cohen Blunt sighting there at defensive end. So, and a hand this time. Oh, wait a minute. No. Yeah, he does hand it. He is called down. And I tell you what, the Panthers played that really well. They had both the quarterback and the running back on that zone read.
Yeah, both covered, yes. And that zone read and those RPO zone reads are, sometimes very difficult. But when you have assignment football and you play your assignment, that's what happens right there. That's a perfect example.
And that was a great play there. Basically no gain there. Brings up 3rd and 6. 3 receivers split to the far side. Oh, looks like Wimberley's going to call a timeout here with 50 seconds left in the first quarter. And the ball resting just inside the
inside
about the 36-yard line. So
outside,
let's continue here. So I was saying 8th grade played here last night. 8th grade A team lost to Wimberley 22-8. The freshmen played here in Wimberley as well and lost 6-0.
What a tight defensive game that was.
And then JV was home at Irwin Lee Field. We lost to Wimberley 35-8. So it wasn't a real good night for the Panthers as far as facing Wimberley, but you know what? It's a good night tonight. It's so far for the Panthers.
The Panthers are playing good football. Not great, but when you have a 7-0 lead, you take what you can get right now.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the volleyball playoffs, which are literally a stone's throw from us, Hank.
Yep.
Not the playoffs, but the seeding for the playoffs with the volleyball Lady Panthers. So they're playing Wimberley, and we haven't got an update here, but that will determine 3rd seed or 4th seed. So again, it looks like the same play for the Texans. Stover's back. He's looking. He throws. He's got a receiver, it looks like, but is it caught? No, it's incomplete. I couldn't quite tell there, but the pass was intended for number 3, Caden Heatley, with Landry Blackburn on the coverage. So
yeah, Blackburn did a good job. He got him behind, let him behind him a little bit, but it looked like he was baiting him, and he had good recovery speed on that one and caught up and was able to get in the mix to knock the ball out.
So it looks like Wimberley's going to go for it here. 4th and 6 on the Panther 36. Oh, he fumbles the snap. He's rushed. Oh, no, he punts it. And Landon Taylor, it rolls on the ground, and he picks it up. Rangel puts a ton of pressure on
Stover,
Stover, and Stover does a rugby-style kick.
Yeah, and that's what it was intended to be, was a quick kick, we call them, where they pitch it back or snap it back to the quarterback, and they just take one step and punt the ball. Well, that's what Wimberley was trying to catch the Panthers off guard. Well, they actually caught Wimberley off guard because Stover wasn't ready for the snap when the ball was snapped, and now, and then the ball goes down the field on the ground, and Landon Taylor had good hands. Looked like he was playing a shortstop, Pena out there, like the Astros Pena.
So they hand it up the middle, and he's tangled by about 5 Wimberley Texans, and that was Mabane here to the left side. Yeah, for a short gain, if any.
Well, I want to tell you, right in the middle of that pack, I mean, the Wimberley Texans just actually blew up that play because Nall barely had a chance to gather the ball and trying to get it over to Mabane. The front line was actually caving into him. But sometimes that's okay if you're letting the center make sure the ball gets to the quarterback instead of hitting the ground. So that's the first quarter.
So the end of the first quarter, the Navarro Panthers are up 7-0. And I tell you what, an exciting first quarter for both teams. but the Panthers are up and made a couple of great offensive plays. But let's bring up the QR code for the
for the Audiovisual Club. Yeah, for donations, you can get the make the donation by getting your camera up there, getting the scan, and it'll take you to the I believe the PayPal account, and you'll be able to take and make your donations there. So this is for the Audiovisual Club. With that, everything right now that you're seeing is being run by students. The camera, the computer, the actual QR code, code that came up is by our director right now. And that's all students. So we want you to help out, and so they can get this thing running and going, and keeping it running and going. Let's say with your donation, any donation will be accepted, no matter what it is.
Right. So. Yeah, if you're sitting on your couch over back in Seguin or Geronimo Navarro, which I know a bunch of you are, so I know a bunch of you told me you're going to watch the game tonight. But yeah, please donate. It'd be much appreciated. But yeah, great first quarter for the Panthers.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
So the Panthers hand it off right up the middle. That's Chapa, and he's got a first down and more into Texan territory. Wow, that opened up big there.
Yeah, I mean that was more of seemed more like a McBain type when we had the. I mean, as soon as he got up the middle, that's what it sounded like because he went through that hole so fast.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Real quick score though. Gerald is up on Austin Achieve, 23-0. Right now is what I have. 14-0 Lago Vista over Manor New Tech. Sorry.
Wow, same play, straight up the middle. There's a late flag coming in from the far side linesman.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you calling a penalty from that far
Unless
out.
It's a face mask,
right.
I mean, or a late hit. So it's one of those things that's probably a personal foul, and it looks like it's going against the Panthers.
Yeah.
I didn't see the Whitehead make the call, did he? Here he is, the head official.
Holding.
Holding.
Wow.
A late holding.
That's interesting because the linesman threw the flag from the far sideline.
Yeah.
The ball was in the middle of the field, so
Ooh,
interesting.
Talk about behind the chains again. I mean, it looks to be like a first down at about, 23, So we'll see what the Panthers can do.
Yeah, it's going to be 1st and 20, actually. There.
Oh, 1st and 20. Sorry.
So the ball rests at the Panther 41-yard line. But you're right. Behind the chains is correct. So Dahl hands it off to this side. That's Chambers. Chambers fights his way up for a nice gain. He's out about the 47, 48-yard line for the Panthers.
Yeah, that was a good hard run by Chambers, but there's some of those things that are happening in the middle of the field where you're seeing submarining and crab crawling by the Wimberley Texans, and they're pushing that line back, but they're taking themselves out of the play as well because they can't make a tackle from down there. All the linemen have to do is lay on it. So you've got to predict that that's going to happen on a lot of these plays, and the Panthers can adjust to that as well.
So that's going to bring up about 2nd and 15, 14, and it handed straight up the middle, and there is no game. Matter of fact, that's going to be a loss for the Panthers.
Yeah, that was just a pile of humanity right there.
And again, it's tough. We've seen openings on the outside. We saw them in the middle, and now it's like Wimberley. They adjust to the outside, then they adjust to the middle. It's a true game of chess right now.
Right.
And so we'll see what the Panthers, 3rd down and 15 from the Panther 46-yard line. So he hands it off to McBain, and he stumbles, and he's down. And that's going to bring up basically no gain. So that's going to be a 4th and 15.
Yeah, and what it looked like with McBain, I don't know if he got the ball clearly or not. It just looked like something went awry there.
Right. It was not a smooth handoff, and he stumbled as well.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing, though, by the Wimberley defense is that they're really trying to get to the heels of the Panthers by staying low and making that initial push. And, we got to turn that around. The Panthers have to be the ones, pushing Wimberley.
So Landon Taylor with the punt. A nice punt by Landon Taylor. It is fielded about the 20-yard line. although he is brought down by Bryce Knoll there at about the 32-yard line of the Texans.
No, stop.
Yeah, and that's, Pontek, he can get loose real quick. So good job by Bryce Knoll to bring him down. So now this is the worst, I think, field position Wimberley's had all game long.
So they are going to mark it at the Texan 33-yard line. And so you're right. That's they've started at the Panther 32, the Panther 38, and the Texan 49. So they are at their own 33-yard line. Looks like they're going to put three receivers to the far side, one to the near side, and one running back here in the backfield. He does hand off straight up the middle. He's got some room, and he's running. That's Jack Boyle. And he's quick.
Yeah.
And he gains, and that's going to be a first down for the Texans.
Yeah, and these Texans like to run the ball. You don't think a spread team will run the ball. You look back at all the years that Wimberley's played out of the spread, they run the ball. Yeah, there's no doubt.
They run the ball, and that's right. And at the end of the day, if we got to stop the run before we stop the pass, and they've had more success, it looks like, running the ball tonight as well. So he handed off again this time. Not sure exactly who that is, but he picks up about 8 or 9 yards here off the left side.
I think that this time was Ball that ran it.
That was Johnny Ball.
And but to go back to the, what Wimberley does, they average about 226 yards a game rushing.
So this is odd. They went under center, and he hands off the ball going to and he's bottled up. A couple of missed tackles by the Panthers in the backfield, which they could have stopped him for a good, sizable 3 or 4 yard loss.
Right.
But he ends up gaining a first down for the Texans. So that's a tough pill to swallow there because we had him bottled up, Hank.
Yeah, the Panthers were there I thought, was able to push him in from the outside in. But good job. I hate to say it, good job by Wimberley in running the ball and getting to the outside.
And Johnny Ball is a good combination of speed and strength and power. So shotgun, back to the shotgun. He's got some pressure. He's looking downfield. He decides to run it. And again, Stover is a tough runner. And I think that was a good example of it because, he
should have been 3 yards further back, brought down.
He was bottled up a few yards back, and the Panthers don't bring him down. He lunges forward for about 4 or 5 yards.
So, the Panthers defense, though, they just got to hang in there and get after it and play a little more aggressive.
So 2nd and 6, Stover keeps it. He's getting outside. He does, and he's got a first down for the Texans again.
Down inside the 30-yard line to about the 27, 28.
So about the 27, 28-yard line for the Texans. Stover keeps it. He fakes the handoff to Ball.
Yeah, and Jaden Gomez looked like he had a chance to turn and make the tackle, but it looks like that jersey pull was out there. And I was like, I was looking for a holding call on that one.
I saw the same thing, but no call. So 1st and 10 for the Texans from about the 27-yard line. He hands it, and a flag flies, but not before Ball gets down about the 20-yard line.
Wow. And the only thing I did not like about that, as far as Stover was able to stand there with the ball, it looked like for a full 2 seconds or so before he actually handed it off.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Let's see what the call is.
Illegal chop block. Offense.
Okay.
That's a 15-yard variety right there. And
15-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So we'll take that. That's going to back the ball up to the Texan 42-yard line. Illegal chop block.
Correct. First down.
It's going to be first down again. And first and about, first and 50, or 25, I'm sorry. That was a 15-yard penalty. So we'll be first and 25 for the Texans. First and 25 for the Texans. So maybe they'll go back to the air here. Let's see. They've got motion from Cauley. He looks like he is going to throw it. He doesn't see anyone. He scrambles to the right side, He throws it. He's got a receiver, and he's wide open, running down the sideline. And it's going to be inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, the big tight end again. That makes the catch. So Collie. And I was begging for a hold back here.
Yeah,
I have to say it. Jacob Arias came back in the backfield, and the official had just turned his head as Stover was looking downfield to throw that ball, and no call on that one.
Stover he looked left. He didn't have anyone. He looked back to right, and Collie was just running down the sideline open. So 1st and goal. He's rolling to his left side. He throws it, and he dives, but he falls, and it's almost a rub route.
Right.
I say almost. It looks like a rub route.
Just a simple, that time looked more like a simple out route, just cut it right down the line of the goal line. But when the ball went, the receiver had to come back to the ball, and that's why it's short. Let's see if Panthers can catch another break as they did on that first goal line stand.
So the ball's rest at the 1-yard line, 2nd and goal. Stover keeps it. He's running. He's going to be in for a touchdown. So Texans do score there. And that should bring the score to 7-6, pending an extra point.
Yeah, we're on the home side, and I tell you, this is the loudest I think the crowd's been all night was on that particular play. But, Stover just basically read his line and went behind his big line on the left side.
So the Texan kicker has not missed all year. The hold's down, the kick is up, and it is good.
So he went right behind Shorter and Romo, the 2 linemen on that left side, just opened the way up for the Texans, and Stover getting his first touchdown of the night and a touchdown of the night for Wimberley as well. Believe it or not, we're tied up 7-7. Who would have thunk that, right?
Right.
We would have thought it had been a real shootout. Running the ball one way with the Panthers, and then seeing Wimberley, throwing it downfield. Well, we haven't really seen that. We've seen good defensive play for the most part, and a lot of little mistakes here and there by both teams, chop blocks and things like that, holding. So now we'll see how the Panthers can come back and see if they can make something happen.
Okay, so we do have a report in from girls volleyball, which is right behind us. And Navarro does end up losing in 4 games to Wimberley, but it's tied between Wimberley and Navarro for the 3rd and the 4th seed, and they do not, at this point, they have not decided the seeding, so I'm not sure what that's all about, but we'll find out if we're the 3rd or the 4th seed, but it's going to be us or Wimberley.
Or if there's a playoff, one game playoff between Wimberley and Navarro to settle it.
So the kick is deep, and it is fielded there by Cropper at the 5, and he drops it. But it looks like he might have
called a fair catch. You can't advance it. Yeah. It should come out to the 25 though.
Right.
Not back there.
Right.
Wait, he called. No matter what, as long as he gains control. My understanding, the ball should be out on the 25. But I could be wrong because he muffed it. So well, they're going to mark it at the 5, but
after the fair catch,
he muffed it.
On the 5-yard line. 1st and 10.
But to me, that doesn't make sense. If you call a fair catch and you retain possession, you can't advance it even after you got possession back. So I'll have to check on that rule. I'm a big rules guy.
So they hand it off up the middle, and he is slammed down. I can't see who that was. It's like Cohen Blunt for a 1-yard loss. And Wimberley's starting to feel it a little bit on that dive play.
Now that's one of the players that goes, a 2-way starter goes both ways, and that's Collie. We just saw him with a big reception earlier, and he was the one in there making a big play, playing nose guard or that inside tackle position.
So let's see what the Panthers draw up. It's 2nd and 11 from their own 4-yard line. They've got to be careful down here.
Right.
No mistakes. There is about 4:10 left in the half. He hands it off. Looks like Mabane. Looks like he's going to get the corner. He's going to get outside. He gets out of bounds, but not quite a first down.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it's still district play, and you know, but it's one of those you'd like to see him maybe lower that shoulder a little more to get a little closer to that first down. But then again, you don't want him to get hurt either, so you got to weigh that out.
Or cut back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Lower the shoulder, cut back, and go into him.
Yeah, he's stretching that field out, so cut back into the grain against him. And a lot of times when you got the momentum like that, So it is 3rd and 4. And he hands it off this way. It is Chambers. He is going to have a Panther first down. And I tell you what, Matthew Richardson and Mac Berry laid out a couple of Texans on that play. So.
And that time, I'll tell you what, Colt Chambers was not going to be denied that first down. He had his shoulders low, and he looked for the hole and hit the hole very hard, right where he needed to be to get the first down. And you love to see that. Good job by the O-line to at least get that initial push and get that opening for him, that crease.
So that'll be 1st and 10 for the Panthers. They hand it again to Mabane. He does cut back this time, and he does get some positive yards. It looks like about 4 yards for the Panthers on first down, so that'll probably bring up a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Wimberley's rotating some of their defensive linemen in. Colley's coming out.
Johnny Ball's in on the defensive line. So.
Yeah, and Boyle just came out with Colley, so.
So, yeah, they're keeping them fresh. And the clock's going to hit about 3 minutes here left in the first half with the score tied 7-7 here in Texans Stadium in Wimberley, Texas. He hands it off. He's got a huge hole up the middle, and that's going to be a first down for the Panthers.
And it looks like Chambers is, ever since he's came back from that injury, Chambers looks like he has more pep in his step. He's
such a burst.
Yeah, he has that burst, and we haven't seen that from Chambers in a long time.
First down, handoff to Mabane to the left side. He gets outside, and again, he had one man to beat.
Yeah.
And he does run out of bounds, but not before a nice gain of about 7-8 yards.
Well, he stopped the clock, but now here's a point in time is that we there's a point in time where we can't get that 1 or 2 yards, but we also have to play the clock right as well. So I couldn't get my thought out there.
So 2nd and about 3.5. He hands it out up the middle, and that's Chapa, and he's only going to get about 1 yard out to about the 40-yard line.
So now this is a big play coming up here for the Panthers, as the Panthers have to, get that push that we talked about. They need to control that line of scrimmage.
So about 2 minutes left here in the first quarter. Panthers 3rd handoff up the middle. That is Chambers. He is going to have the first down.
Bodies laying everywhere. Yeah. There's carnage out here, folks, and that's what we were talking about earlier pregame, that physical play. And both teams play physical here. And, this is the rivalry. This is what we talk about, Wimberley Texans and the Navarro Panthers. And you just saw it there. That was a perfect example. If you could have a picture of that, you'd have thought that a mine went off and blew everybody up on the field.
Well, I tell you what, it's there's going to be about 1:30 left here in the half. So Panthers do have the first down just inside their own 45. They are going to throw it now. He throws it, and I couldn't see who the intended receiver.
Bo Brumley.
Oh, Bo Brumley.
Yeah, in the middle. It was a little high for even Bo Brumley, who stands up there about, what does he go, about 6'6", 6'5"? Pretty tall player, and that's a hard one to miss. But Nall did a good job of put the ball, though, where nobody else was at for Wimberley Texans. So.
Yeah, exactly. No mistake.
You're right.
This drive started at the Panther 5-yard line. 2nd and 10, the 1:24. He hands it to Mabane going left, but and the flag comes in, and Mabane just runs out of bounds. And he loses about 3 or 4 yards.
Now, if you're the Texans here after that loss of 2-3, you might want to decline it if it is against the Panthers.
Wimberley does have 2 timeouts left, so
Yeah, I mean, because if not, you're allowing the Panthers to have the ball longer, and that's why I would have declined it.
Offense is declined.
It is declined.
Okay.
So
So,
second down.
Third down.
I'm sorry, third
Yeah.
down. It's third down and about 10. So, yeah, they've got 2 timeouts. They're banking on holding them here. But, you know,
yeah, I would. Third down, you know, Lance, we've seen some plays here that could go for big yardage, and I'm looking at, well, not the play that I thought.
oh, and so Bryce rolls to his right side. He's got a receiver. He hits him. It's Bo Brumley.
Yeah.
And he not only does he catch it, but he gets out of bounds. And first down for the Panthers.
The big, tall receiver, Bo
Although
Brumley.
I see a
Oh,
flag down here.
But is it roughing the passer? Because this looked like after the play, so.
It doesn't. It looks like
Receiver
Oh.
downfield.
an eligible receiver downfield.
Well, they're watching that one tonight, aren't they?
Wow.
And we saw that call against Wimberley earlier tonight. Now it's against the Panthers, as that was a big play
Huge.
by the Panthers and just getting down the field a little too early.
Which, yeah, and I think, what is it, 4 yards? You just got to get.
You got to stay in those 3-yard area, you know. If you're in contact with a defender, though, and you're blocking them, you could be well around that area and then some, as long as you're in contact with them. Engaged, I should
So
say.
that's going to bring up 3rd and 15. The ball rests at the 39-yard line of the Panthers. 1:12 remaining here in the first half. Bryce is going to do the follow, and he's wrapped up around the neck by Cauley. And Cauley's fired up. And Null's slow to get up. 4th down for the Panthers. So Wimberley does call a timeout with 1 minute and 5 seconds left here in the first half. So
Yeah, we talked about volleyball already and talked about how the fact that they're tied up now for 3rd place with Wimberley. We don't know how the tiebreaker is going to work to get the seeded yet. Once we get that information, if we get it, we'll let you know as well. And then any other announcements, Lance, that you had?
this week on Monday, we're going to cross country's going to Corpus Christi and running for regionals.
That's right.
So good luck to the Panthers that are doing the cross country. Both ladies and the men's team will be down in Corpus on Monday. So, and then on Tuesday night it's senior night for the volleyball. The Lady Panthers, they're going to play NBCA, which.
And
I
the
think
Brownfields Christian Academy?
Yeah, New Braunfels Christian Academy. There we go. I was going to say that was going to be my guess. So, but yeah, that's on Tuesday, the 25th. So the Panthers line up to punt the ball, and rugby style. Oh, it was close.
There it is.
And yeah, there is a penalty flag that's dropped. A nice return there. Patek still running. He's still running, and he fights his way out to about the 50-yard line. But let's see what the call is.
And yeah, it's either, if I remember right, it still applies in high school and college that it's either running into or a roughing.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it's the 15-yard variety or the 5-yard variety. And see, we have another flag, too, also on the field. So
I was going to say, I thought
yeah.
I saw another flag dropped because I thought I saw a block in the back down there on the Texans.
So we'll see what occurs here. I'll let the head official sort this one out. I'll try to get it on the crowd mic. They're talking to Coach Blunt, so
Right.
he gets the choice. I believe both of them are going to go against the Texans. So I would bet this is a running into the kicker. As opposed to roughing.
It looked
because
like it.
we would already have the offense out there and done.
Right.
Now, so if this penalty takes them back even farther, because if you punt it again, you risk the chance of, a big return, or something to that effect. So you want to make sure to go ahead and pin them back as far as you can. So I would assume that if this is a block in the back, the Blunt will take the ball, take the penalty and move the ball back against Wimberley. So Because a lot of time went off during that run back. I mean, it was usually you have a play that runs averages between 6 and 8 seconds. And that play took,
yeah, was left.
Oh, by both teams.
Run into the kicker. 5-yard penalty against the defense is declined. Holding. Receiving team. Okay. Penalty is accepted. 10-yard penalty. First and 10.
So it's a spot foul, so like 10 yards from the spot.
And it'll go to the 30 or close to the 30. If that's where they are saying the flag occurred.
Right.
Because that's where the ball was. So I was like, I was a little, I was not quite understanding exactly where they had the ball versus where the penalty was at. So, but either way, Panthers have to play good defense here, no big plays, and don't let nobody behind you.
Right.
We could say that in unison for sure.
So 7-7, 49 seconds here in the first half. The Texans take over. They've got the ball at their own 30-yard line. So let's see what happens here. Big drive for both teams, because Navarro will get the ball second half kickoff. So let's see what happens here. Shotgun formation, trip receivers he hands it off up the middle, and he's brought down, but not before about a 6-yard gain.
And I believe
that is going to run the clock. That's Johnny Ball on the run.
And Tolliver, good takedown there.
Tolliver won the tackle. Pickup of 6.
So the clock is running, about 30 seconds. That's True Couch on the reception, and he is tackled out of bounds by, I'm sorry, that's Birdsong, their leading receiver, tackled by Bryce Nall here on the near side.
I wanted him to be in bounds as his knee went down. I know that they stopped the clock for a first down, but I could have swore his knee went down in bounds before he went out.
So 27 seconds left, 7-7. He's back to pass. He looks to the right. He gets some pressure. He takes off, and he looks like he's brought down out of bounds again there by number 6, Bo Brumley.
Yeah, Bo Brumley did a great job of following him down and making sure he grabs him at the hips, wrapped him up well, make sure he wasn't getting away, because we've seen Stover break a couple of tackles tonight and run hard. But, as long as you can keep him, if you try to keep him in bounds, 18 seconds left here and only one timeout for Wimberley.
Right. Again, don't let anyone behind you. 18 seconds. Back to pass. He's looking right. He's got a receiver that falls down. He dumps it off to Patek, and he's knocked out of bounds by Landon Taylor. And I tell you what, the Texans are doing a great job of getting out of bounds on this drive. They've got 11 seconds left. But again,
third down and, 11 seconds. Yeah, they're doing good time management, but the Panthers are doing a great job of coverage. And I'd almost want to put one more person back about 10, 15 yards.
Right, third and about 2, so they can pick up a first down, but clock's ticking. They do a screen. It is to Johnny Ball up the middle. He's got some room, and he's got to get him out of bounds. Tackle him, yes, they do tackle him.
Yep.
But that's the end of the half.
Yep, that's it. He had to make the touchdown. I was going to say, that was a long developing play. Yeah, it took all of the whole 11 seconds. That's the end of the first half. And thank goodness the Panthers took him down inbounds. Wait a minute,
they're giving him a timeout.
No, there was no time when I looked up. We could look at the clock.
The Panthers are running off the field. And I tell you what, if I was blunt, I looked up, and that was a second after he was tackled, and there was already 0 on the clock. I'm not sure. We've got a clock on our.
Yeah, we have the clock on there as the play was developing. But maybe we'll have to go back and look on our YouTube channel and scroll back on the bottom and on the scroll bar. And let's see what the official says here.
That's the end of the half.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that is the end of the half. That is right.
Wow.
No.
What a first half, Lance.
Wow.
I did not expect a 7-7. I thought we'd look at a 14-7, 21, 14, or vice versa, or 21-21. but I did not expect a 7-7 game. But at the half, because
Right.
both of these teams are pretty good at scoring.
Well-
and tonight, Wimberley Texans have their 40-point per game average in jeopardy.
Right, they do. And I think that was the right call because, Stover still had the ball in his hands with
the clock
9
coming,
seconds left, and he dumped it off to Ball, and he had to run 50 yards down the field. So,
and he
was-
rolled on top of a defender before he was actually down,
Right.
and that takes another second or two, and by that time it was over.
So, anyways, good
Yeah.
call by the refs.
We like the call, yes.
Right, yeah. 7-7 here at halftime. And so, we'll jump in to
We'll go to our sponsors here, our Diamond sponsors. So you're watching, the Panther football on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse.
we're back here, and it's halftime at Texan Stadium, but
High School
the
Dazzlers drill team.
Navarro Panther Dazzlers and Panther Band are coming on, so we're going to focus a little bit on them, or at least put the camera on them as they're going to do their performance. And then Hank,
Yeah,
we're waiting on Scott Kibby to come back up. But
we'll go over some of the big plays and things that there wasn't very many scoring big plays, but a lot of big plays overall. So I'll be happy to see what Scott Kibby has on the stat sheets.
All right, enjoy the Dazzlers.
To Oye Como Va. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the field the two-time state qualifying grandest band in the land, the Purple Pride Panther Marching Band. Under the direction of Patrick Todd, J.C. Alexander, Tyler Carpenter, and Anthony Gutierrez. Drum majors for the season are Elena McWhorter, Madison Taggart, and Alex Cantrell. This evening, the Panther Band will be performing their 2022 UIL marching show entitled Sands Through the Hourglass, A Journey Through Time.
come back. Okay.
All right, we're back here at halftime, and we're joined by Scott Kibby from the Seguin Gazette for our stats.
Okay,
First half stats.
let me get him his headset and all, and sorry about that.
That's all right.
Forgive me, please. There we go. All right, Scott.
All right.
There you go. Now we're ready for some stats.
I've got to get get a little light. Thank you.
Yeah.
For Navarro, 6 first downs, 25 rushes for 144 yards, no passing yards on just 1 attempt, two punts for an average of 31.5 yards, no fumbles, 3 penalties for 20 yards, 3 huge penalties for 20 yards. Mebane, 8 carries, 63 yards. Chambers, 6 carries for 55 yards. For Wimberley, 8 first downs, 17 rushes for 79 yards, 115 passing yards on 6 out of 9 attempts with 1 interception. 2 punts for an average of 23.5 yards, no fumbles, 3 penalties for 35 yards. Stover leading the way for them, 8 carries, 33 yards, ball 6 for 28. Leading receiver Colley with 2 catches for 54.
So what was Wimberley's total yardage in that half?
79 and 115, so 194. Take into account about 45 yards of it were on that last play. That didn't, obviously didn't help them any. Yeah.
What was their rushing yards? 8 rushes for 79 yards?
17 for 79.
Oh, sorry. I thought I missed that. Which is nice. Hey.
Yeah.
It's a good job. I mean, Stover with just 33 yards being their leading rusher, you'd always take that against these guys.
All right. So, Scott, let me ask you some questions real quick. Now, what do you think were some of the, what was the biggest difference in that first half than what you thought it was going to be? Because we all have certain expectations. So, versus your expectation of that first half, what do you think, went different than what you expected? Let's say that.
I think they were just able to jump on them early. I mean, I think that Wimberley twice had it inside the 40, their first 2 series, inside the Navarro 40, came up empty.
Right.
That's a momentum that the Panthers have not been able to get early against these guys in the past. But I thought they were just ready to play. I think we're probably a little more keyed up for this game right now than Wimberley, and I think that showed early.
Right.
Did not get we'd love to see him get a couple of touchdowns ahead at least with that, but it was a good sign. They were definitely ready to play.
Yeah, and I have to say our defense is what's been really the difference in the game more than I expected. I thought Wimberley could almost do what they wanted against us. Coming into this game, I thought they might be able to do that. I was hoping they would. And actually I think the Panthers defense has just done a phenomenal job against an offense that is so powerful. And I mean powerful, and they have a huge arsenal in their receivers, their quarterback, and their running back, and they have a huge line, and they haven't been able to take advantage of that at all against our defense, because I think Jacob Arias is playing one of his better games he's played all year tonight as a linebacker.
Yeah, they're really in position. They're really getting in the backfield much better than I thought they would tonight. The only thing that concerns me is they're missing too many tackles.
Yeah,
and they just can't. These guys are good at breaking tackles. This is this is a good opponent here, but they've got to stop that in the second half or get that under control, because they're just getting too many extra yards. You have on the touchdown drive for Wimberley, they have 2nd and 2. You should have them in the backfield for a 3-yard loss. Instead, they get a first down, so you don't have 3rd and 5 and the possibilities there. So got to tackle better. Even on that last play that almost turned into a touchdown, and if they'd put time on the clock, might have been points for Wimberley.
Yeah.
A lot of broken tackles.
Yeah, and I saw that. We saw that on that return. That was taking place, a couple of the returns by Pontek. He was able to break, several tackles on his return, and then you're like, oh, just bring him down, But what I saw from a couple of Panthers, though, like Bo Brumley, good farm tackling, good tackling overall. But, you've got to do that as a group, though. You can't be one player doing that. It has to be, the whole team in gang tackling.
Yeah, and they, the first part of the game there was a couple of long kickoff returns there.
Right.
The opening kickoff and then the second one. They started field position at the Panther 32, missed a field goal, and the Panther 38 got an interception. But yeah, they got to clean that up, and then But the Panthers are playing great run defense and pass defense. I mean, the defense is really. I mean, if you look back to the first 3 or 4 games of the year, I mean, it's it's a world of difference. Although, and I think we both mentioned it. This is the Laga Vista game was almost a precursor for this because they run very similar offenses. They run the zone read. Their quarterback runs. They've got a good back, but we seem to be ready. And yeah, so we get the second half kickoff. Let's see what do you think? What do you think, Scott? I mean,
it's the Panthers have moved the ball very well too. All 3 series where they've been stopped, it's been a penalty. Once that penalty, they've only got 3 in the game. Once that penalty's thrown, they didn't get a first down. So that's really, that's really hurting them tonight. It's what they've done a lot this season is hurt those penalties because they can't get behind the chains, especially against these guys. This is not a team that you're going to be able to make that up on.
Right. Any good team, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah.
And my feeling is let's I would like to see us. I mean, this is just on my part is like a wish list. I would like to see us. Run McBain to different sides as opposed to that to always going to the left side. I'd like to see him. I like to see it some way of mixing it up and getting him over to the right side as well, because I don't think Wimberley would expect that at all because we haven't done it all year.
Right, and
that's on my wish list.
Yeah, and on my wish list is to pass the ball a little bit more. I mean, 1 pass in the half.
And one that was wiped out, of course, by the penalty.
Sure. Yeah, right.
That would have been one. That's again one that went to Bo Brumley, and it would have been a first down. Gets out of bounds, stops the clock. Everything was perfect except that penalty that brought it back on a legal man downfield or a legal receiver downfield.
Right, which is understandable considering we don't throw the ball very much.
Right. What expecting?
The linemen sometimes
it's like, we're not supposed to run down the field yet.
Right. But overall, great first half for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think if you're Coach Blunt at halftime, you're saying, look, we'd like to be up after the start we got off to, but we're in a lot better shape than we've been against these guys in a while. It's a different game, different year, and we're showing it. And we just got to, again, play our game better, play our game, and we'll be fine.
Right, and that's what we've been asking for all year, and I think we saw it in Laga Vista. We played our game, and big things happen. But this type of game has to be a little bit more ball control, and we have played, I think, to a certain degree, pretty good keep away. So we have to continue to play keep away. Just keep Wimberley's offense off the field, and I think we'll be fine the rest of this half. So, all right, Scott. Well, tell everybody out there how they can see, your articles that you do for the Seguin Gazette and Facebook and all that stuff. So
we'll be Sunday's Gazette. You can find a print version. What you'll find in the print version for tonight's game will be a little shorter. A little more detailed article will come out online. We have a little more time to write that. Have a little more time, and then. Normally we'll have previews. We're not going to preview the game this coming week, but starting in the playoffs, we'll be previewing games in the Wednesday edition.
Okay. So Scott, again, thank you for those stats and your time coming all the way across from the visitor side to the home side. We really appreciate it.
You bet.
All right.
So, Hank, I've got a list here of some of the people that have donated, and
really?
been asked to mention a couple of names
Awesome.
here.
Awesome.
Throughout the weeks. Thank you from a Darlene Monk, Mr. Lenz II, Jordan Guerrero, looks like Bacchus, Mrs. Bacchus, Cynthia Placano, Rob Brooks, Roger Straunch, Dana Newberg. So thank you much for the donations here to the AV Club. We much appreciate it, and we are approaching I think $1,000 on the year. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
We much appreciate it. Keep the donations coming. I know the kids sure appreciate it. We appreciate it. And we wouldn't be here without you. So what do you think of the second half, Hank? I mean,
yeah, we talked about it, and I think with Scott Kibby, and I think what we're going to see again tonight is the Panthers have to, again, control the line of scrimmage and control the ball. Just, again, continue to play keep away. Don't make those mistakes. Don't turn it over, that sort of thing. So,
yeah, and, the Panthers are holding their own, on the run. And honestly, they have Wimberley has 115 yards in passing,
right.
But I mean 45 of it came on that very last play right before that screen play right before the half. But
right.
But man, that would have very impressive defense. And anyways, yeah, we were leading the turnover battle, but
right.
I tell you, the only thing that's really killing us right now, and Scott mentioned it, is the penalties. But yeah,
right.
so real quickly on the drive chart. The Panthers started off with a touchdown on their first drive, 39-yard run from Antoine Mabane. Second drive was a punt, started at the Panther 24-yard line. Third drive was started at the 34-yard line of the Panthers, and another punt. And then the fourth drive, we actually moved the ball quite well. Started at the Panther 5, but we ended up punting again. So 3 punts out of the 4 drives. And on the Texans side, they received the opening kickoff, and they had a nice return on the kickoff, and they got it all the way down to, I think it was the 1-yard line.
Yes.
Then they got a penalty, and it backed them up, and then they missed a field goal. So great job by the Panthers there. And then on their second drive, started at the Panther 38, another good return by the Texans.
Right.
But on the very first play, Stover threw it up for grabs there in the center of the field, and our center fielder there, Bryce Nall, so to speak, had a nice interception and returned that back about 10 yards. On the third Texan drive was a punt. The fourth Texan drive started at their own 33, and they drove it the length of the field to tie it up 7-7 after a Cody Stover 1-yard run. And then the fifth drive for the Texans started at their own 30-yard line. And they actually drove it down to about the Panther 1 or 2-yard line.
Yes, time ran
out on downs there. And they drove that in about a minute and 5, or actually, I think it was less than a minute.
Wow.
I think it was a minute and 5 when we punted. And I think you mentioned it was a long play on the punt, so it was less than a minute left. So, and Wimberley did a good job about getting out of bounds on that last drive. But anyways, yeah. So we've got about 2 minutes left here before
and we'll listen a little bit of the Wimberley band while we've got a little bit of time here.
And while we do that, maybe we can bring up the QR code for the fans back home. And again, this is the QR code for the AV club and donations. And you scan the QR code to your phone, and it'll take you right to the PayPal account to where you can donate. And much appreciated. If you didn't make the trip out here to Wimberley tonight, it is a beautiful night. You probably should have to support the band and the football team and the cheerleaders and the Dazzlers and everyone else. But hey, understandable if you didn't. But we would like to see you donate to the students and the AV club. Much appreciated.
All right.
All right, we're here and back at Texan Stadium here live from Wimberley, Texas.
Ooh, well, we got us a football game, man. Oh, man, this is something else.
So we're going to start the second half here, and the Panthers are going to receive. And here we go.
Yeah.
You know, the Texans, they're wearing their red jerseys and white pants, and I know why they're doing that because they call them the code red for their defense. But let's go down and score and on the code red defense. So.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, real quick scores that have at halftime: Laga Vista leading 42-0 over Manor New Tech, and then also have I still show at halftime, and it hasn't caught up with it. 7-7 Seguin and Canyon all tied up, and then Austin Achieve and Gerald's leading 60-0 at halftime. So that's not unexpected,
right?
But we'll meet Austin Achieve next week.
All right, so the temperatures dropped a little bit here in Wimberley, but the wind hasn't picked up, so not like last week. So we're at 70 degrees. Kickoff is at about 78 and 7 miles an hour out of the south, and you see a little bit of the flag blowing, but the Wimberley Texans will have that slight breeze here in the third quarter, and then the Panthers will have it in the fourth. So the Texans will kick off from their own 40, and they do kick it deep. And again, Cropper signals for the fair catch. And he does catch it about his 9-yard line. So the Panthers will have it at their own 25 to start the second half. So what do you think, Hank?
I think the Panthers need to go back, and really work on line play. Line play, right up the middle has been a little suspect. I mean, Wimberley has really pushed, some of our guys there in the middle back and causing some havoc in the backfield. So the Panthers have to do a better job. They might have to tighten their splits a little bit, make some adjustments here or there, or change the snap counts. And that's hard because in slot T, snap counts are critical.
Panthers to the line. They do hand it off straight up the middle, and that looks like it's Chapa, and he is not going to get any yardage. The Texans are screaming for a fumble, but I don't think that.
Yeah, I think his forward progress was well stopped before. But
code red defense on that play. Huh?
Well, and I was going to say there was 10 people around the ball, 10 players of the Texans, only one guy back, and that was one safety.
So they hand it off here to the near side. That's Colton Chambers, and he's fighting, and he's still pushing. And it looks like he's going to have about 8 yards, depending on the spot.
Beautiful.
But a nice run.
Look,
He had some.
He looked like this on that one, the old locomotive.
But you're right. If we can just get it past that first level of defenders, there's some room there because Wimberley's basically playing a one linebacker set.
And they're pulling their corners off, where they look like almost like two safeties, and then you got a safety on the very top.
They hand it again up the middle. Looks like Mabane. I'm sorry.
He gets off on the right side, Mabane does.
Yeah.
And he gets plenty for a first down and a little bit of extra shove in there and such. But, again, it's one of those times what I talk about all the time is that, the officials need to blow the whistle when the play is dead. And if you don't blow that whistle, linemen don't look back and they can't see where the ball is. So you've got to blow the whistle or they're going to keep playing till the whistle is.
Especially in this game.
Yeah. Especially.
No, looks like Bryce is rolling to his left side. He's getting outside. I'm not sure if he was going to. He's tripped up. Not sure if he was going to throw the ball or not, but he picks up a nice sizable gain of about 7-8 yards. And that's going to bring it out to about the 43-yard line of the Panthers. So nice run and roll out there, which I like to see.
I did. Give him that option.
We've been running up the middle a bunch and spread them out east to west, right?
Yeah, and get some options out there because he can either run it, throw it.
So they do hand it off at this time again up the middle, and of course that looks like Chapa.
Yeah.
And Chapa's about 1 yard there. So,
man,
Wimberley is selling out in between
Yep.
the tackles. And again, I'd like to see us run, stretch them out to the
Right.
sideline.
And get the options to either cut back.
Right.
If you do it right, you can either run, throw,
Right.
or you even get in a position there to where you can stretch it out, like you said, and have the cutback lane available.
Oh, and it looks like
Yeah.
some motion there, and I think that was Bo Brumley.
Just barely, too. It was-
Just moved at the tight end position here on the near side.
and look,
That,
go ahead.
well, I was going to say, that's tough because
Oh, yeah.
that was 3rd and 2.5, 3. And
Remember, and as Scott Kibby said in our halftime show, that there's basically the only way that we were stopped when we had the ball was when we get a penalty. So let's see if the Panthers can overcome some adversity here early in the third quarter and get over that and get the 3rd down and 7 here coming up.
so Bryce, he rolls again to the left side. He throws it, and he throws it a little bit over the head of Landry Blackburn. Landry looked like he was open on that play, but it was just Bryce had a little bit of pressure, and it was just barely over the fingertips of Blackburn. So
And rolling out to that left side, it is
it's a little
difficult,
tougher, right? Yeah.
So,
Especially for a right-handed
Yeah.
quarterback there.
Yeah.
So that does stop the clock with 8:47 left. The Panthers will punt from their own 39-yard line.
So Landon Taylor is back to punt for the Panthers. So, and he does a good job with it.
And he gets off another nice punt. The Texans run under it. They field it at about the 27, 28-yard line, and he's still running. That's Pautek. He gets loose, and he's still running. And he's finally thrown out of bounds by the Panthers. And
Talk about
man, we've got referees flying, and which
well, and that's exactly what we talked about too at halftime. Is that got to do a better job of tackling. You got to be in space. You got to be able to break down a little better and make that tackle, and that's where the Wimberley Texans does a good job of breaking tackles, and just Panthers have to do a better job of tackling. And you're right, they got Cohen Blunt out at the looks like at the left defensive end. That's set up out there with the 40 front.
So they're going to set up shop about the Panther 49-yard line after a nice return by the Texans, Lane Pautek. And they're under center again, which I don't know if I've seen that in a decade. But he's serious pressure. That's Colley, and he's rolled out, but he is swarmed by Hayden Tolliver.
Jacob Arias again doing a great job of coming in, putting that pressure on, and which it allowed the Panthers to adjust a little bit on the defensive side where the linebackers find who the receiver, because there's only one place he can go with the ball, and there's no other place because of the pressure he could throw the ball.
So 3 receivers split to the near side, 1 to the far side. He's in the shotgun formation. It's about 2nd and 7. He hands it off up the middle, and it's Johnny Ball. He's popped outside, and Landry Blackburn and Landon Taylor clean it up, and he loses about 3 yards.
Oh man, Lance, that was nice. I mean, that we were looking for good tackling. That was what we were looking for right there by Landon Taylor, and able to run him down, not just barely get a tackle, run him down, wrap him up, and take him to the ground.
So there was a penalty there on the play, but it's declined by the Panthers.
I'm looking to see. It should be a loss on the play, and it was. That loss on the play takes it all the way back to the, looks like the 48-yard line is where they're going to be spotting it. Or is it the 49? Nope.
So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 for the. I'm not sure why the clock is. There we go. He winds the clock there. 7:45 left here in the third. Motion from the Texans. Shotgun. He's looking right. He's got a lot of pressure. He gets loose, though. Man, he's quick. And he's off to the races here. But he's brought down about the 30-yard line by Gabriel Rangel.
Yeah, you got a couple of players down, both Panthers in. Stover's kind of came up a little slow there. You know, he got hit by Rangel, and Rangel was a little slow. That was the physicality we were seeing.
So I tell you what, though, the Panthers had a lot of pressure on him, but that's the second or third time tonight he has avoided pressure and scrambled and got upfield and got another first down for the Texans.
Yeah, we had no containment on that right side. Sorry.
Yeah, no, so it's going to first and 10 at the 31-yard line of the Panthers. And again, nice stiff arm by Stover, but he's bottled up by a bunch of Panthers there.
Yeah, that was
Landon Taylor leading the charge, right?
Yeah, Landon Taylor, you push me, I'm going to push you right back. You know, I'm coming right at you. And good job but that's what the Panthers needed. Somebody just to slow him down, everybody else come in and make the tackle. He didn't have a chance to get to the outside or make those cuts. He couldn't cut back inside because Taylor had taken that inside cut from him.
Right, that was, you know, and so that's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 here. Trips to the near side and one receiver to the far side. Shotgun formation. Johnny Ball looks like he's on the right side there of Stover. Stover barking out the signals, looking right, but takes off. Again, almost looks like a called draw. Hayden Tolliver brings him down, but not before another 11-yard gain for Stover.
Well, I think you're right on that, Lance, that was a called draw by Stover. He knew that, you know, Panthers were bringing the pressure already, and it looked to be a design play to slow down that pressure, because if that pressure would have been more, you know, towards the middle, he would have been stuffed. But that time it was just from the outside.
So first down from the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. He fakes the handoff. Stover up the middle, and a flag. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a football on the far side of the football that was being thrown on the track.
It's being kicked out there. Yeah. Heck, it might be my son, but anyways. But yeah, the ball is inside the 20-yard line, so a short gain there. 2nd and 8.
Right. So the Wimberley Texans were going with what's working, and they're staying with Stover, running the ball for the most part with the zone read.
So shotgun formation, he's looking to the right. He's got some pressure. And again, he throws out to the left side, and Birdsong is wide open. And Gabriel Rangel can't get to him, but that's a Wimberley Texan touchdown. And he was just, you know.
And that all goes back to Stover. Stover able to be elusive enough to get away from pressure, and he did a great job at that. So you got to hand that to Stover, because it was, I mean, good coverage for the most part. Then it becomes backyard football, see who can get open, and that's what happened with Birdsong.
And he just had too long to throw. So the kick is up, and it looks like it is good, and that'll give Wimberley the lead 14-7 here in the third quarter with 5:06 remaining.
Wow.
But yeah, he looked to his right, he moved, he shuffled, and then he looked to his left, and it looked like Birdsong was just wide open there, and just tossed it over to him, and he walks into the end zone.
Yeah, but like I said, the elusiveness. I mean, Panthers come with a couple of players that get into the backfield, and he sidesteps and moves around, but keeps his eyes down the field. You know, you hear it all the time.
Right.
You know, and when a quarterback can keep his eyes down the field, he's going to find somebody open, and that's what Stover did on that particular play, and he kept at it. And the Panthers were coming. It's just the fact that, you know, they couldn't hold the coverage long enough. Somewhere coverage is going to break down if he keeps, you know, avoids the pressure and gets to the side and scrambles out, and that's that's a big boy play right there that Stover had. So now the Panthers will receive again. This will be their second possession. You know, that penalty they had really hurt the Panthers again, even though it's not, you know, some of them aren't big penalties, but those little false starts, things like that, can really eat at you when you run an offense that's designed to only go 3 yards a play. So there's the kickoff.
So a fair catch is called there by Cropper inside his own 10-yard line. So the Panthers will take over on their second drive at the own 25 again.
Well, I'm going to see if I can get the Panthers going. Whew.
So the Texans are up by a touchdown here in the third quarter, 14-7, with 5:06 remaining.
Yeah. Now let's see how the Panthers respond here.
The handoff is to Mabane out to the left side. There's a host of Texans out there. And I tell you what, I saw Mac Berry out there pounding the ground. I'm not sure if he missed a block or if he's just upset that he couldn't get Mabane free. But the clock is ticking, and this is an important drive for the Panthers.
Oh, yeah. They get behind the chains right away. And, man, this is going to bring up a second down. Looks like close to 13 here. And if, the Panthers have to get positive yardage.
So it's 2nd and 13. And Panthers up to the line, and they run, it looks like the peanut play, but it was not sure. I don't know.
I think the ball was going to be an inside handoff. And the ball hits the ground. It wasn't a clean handoff, so there's the second mistake that we've seen already that could hurt the Panthers as they are way behind the chains. Still looks like 3rd and 13 here. My goodness.
So 3rd and 13. The Panthers have the ball at their own 22-yard line. They've lost 3 yards on 2 plays here in the drive. They've got 12 seconds here on counting on the play clock. And Bryce is going to throw it. He throws it out there, and he throws it out to Landry Blackburn. Again, the same pass play it looks like they just ran. I don't know. I saw a little bit of contact there, but
it looked like he was climbing the ladder, the defender on that one. Patek was. I believe that was Patek, the defender, and going up and over to Lambert and actually using his shoulder pads with his left hand, climbing up the ladder, so to speak. And I was looking for a flag on that one as well.
So that's going to bring up a 4th down. The Panthers are going to punt. You've got Landon Taylor standing at his own 10-yard line. He does the rugby-style run, and nice kick again. And I tell you what, the one thing I've noticed tonight is Patek for the Texans. Man, he gets under those punts, and he fields them all. He doesn't let them roll. He doesn't let them bounce.
Right.
And that is huge. And not only that, I mean, the Texans have great field position on their second drive at their own 46.
Through the years, Dakota Bank and Wimberley ISD have formed a great relationship, and we're excited to continue in our partnership together. Dakota Bank has been in Wimberley since 1990. They continue to be recognized as a community bank. They'll stand by its customers.
Yeah, they got good field position again.
The 3 receivers split to the far side, 1 to the near side. He's going to throw it. He's looking. He does look out, throws it to his back out of the backfield. And again, he's running forward and gets it. It looks like he fights for a 1st down for the Texans.
Yeah, Panthers got to do a better job of wrapping up on that initial contact.
And that was Johnny Ball, and he just laid it to a couple of Panther defenders there.
He was like a bowling ball going down the field on that one. That's
he put his shoulder down for sure and drug about 3 or 4 of them. And so that's 1st and 10 for the Texans. And I tell you what, the Panthers need to hold them on this drive. So that's Johnny Ball up the middle. He does again. He is fighting, but the ball's loose.
Ball's loose. Let's see.
And the Panthers got it. The Panthers do have the power. And the refs are signaling.
Yeah, Panther ball, so it's going to be Panthers. It looked like as he's coming down to the ground, the ball just pops out as he comes out. Yeah, it's already out before he hits the ground as we see it on the.
Nick Swartzlosey on the tackle to strip the ball.
Yeah, he raked it out. And good job by the Panthers.
So the Panthers will take over at their own 29-yard line. And they hand it coming to that's Colton Chambers, it looks like. And again, man, that play, I tell you, has probably been the most successful running play outside of
you don't like to see that.
Chambers is limping.
Yep.
Timeout for injury.
He's trying to walk it off right now, and he is walking it off, so they're going to walk him to the sideline.
But what I was going to say is that's been a really successful running play all night. Chambers has had lots of room to run. It's almost like a delayed handoff, and it's a normal play out of our slot
Right.
T, but man, it's and when I say a delayed handoff, it's not just a direct handoff like a quick
Right.
drive play or whatnot. But like I said, that play has had some success tonight.
Right, it has. And you know, it's a type of play that you see in a slot T all the time, but the Panthers are running a little different, running it on the inside as opposed to going to the outside as you're used to seeing them go a little farther outside tackle.
So Bryce hands it off again, this time straight up the middle. That's Cohen Blunt. And Blunt's going to pick up about 3 yards on just a simple dive play.
Yeah, good push by that time it was a great push by the offensive line in the middle. Remember, we had talked about that earlier. As long as they can stay low and fire out, you know, the Panthers can move the Texans off that front line. But I have to say, tonight, though, the front line of the Texans has been doing a pretty good job.
So 3rd down and about 4. That's Bryce. He's going to be bottled up. And Wimberley says no more.
Yeah,
he's going to lose about a yard. That's going to bring up 4th and 5 for the Panthers from their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, I think the Panthers went to the well too often on that one, and it's gone dry. So, you know, I'm not questioning the play calling, but after so many times that it looks like Wimberley is picking up on something to see it coming, and they read it well. So the Panthers will have to do something different with that play, or at least have a different wrinkle to it.
Well, Landon Taylor standing at his own 23-yard line, getting ready to receive a punt. And there's whistles.
We got false start against the Panthers. I was hoping there for a second if it would have went against Wimberley on a 5-yard encroachment call, that would have taken and given the Panthers a 1st down.
Right. And the clock is ticking here. We're approaching 1 minute left here in the 3rd quarter. So let's see if Landon Taylor can get off a punt here and maybe get it over Pautek or away from him, which it does this time.
Yeah, perfect call.
And nice. And it does take a Panther roll and is going to roll down about, let's see where he marks it.
They're saying Panthers first touch it at the 29. So they're going to give the benefit to the receiving team. So
a nice punt there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first one Pautek hasn't received for the Texans. So the Panthers catch a nice break there and force them.
Now let's not let Stover. You'd said it at the very beginning. I looked back at your keys and I said, well, look, control Stover. And that's essentially what happened in that last drive that Wimberley went down to score, before that fumble, the series before. And they got to do it now is to control Stover.
Yeah, and the defense needs to hold them or make a big play. So they hand off straight up the middle. And again, and I tell you what, he's bottled up. And that's Johnny Ball. And he's running down the sidelines free. And he's tripped up there at the very end by Gabriel Rangel. But I tell you what, folks, he was stopped in the backfield. I say, well, he was probably around their line of scrimmage. And, man.
Yeah, he was back behind right at the line of scrimmage, bottled up, 2 or 3 Panthers, and they just peeled off of him, and ball was down the field.
So Stover keeps it, and he's bottled up, but he's fighting his way, and a bunch of Panthers finally grab his leg and lift it up and horse collar him down.
Well, we can see now there's a conservative effort by Coach Warren to look at, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to come out and run the ball. I mean, they threw very few passes. There were passes in that mixed in here and there. We saw the touchdown to Birdsong, earlier. But this is one of those that you can tell that Doug Warren is out to run the ball against the Panthers right now.
And he's almost playing the Navarro script.
Exactly.
He's up by 7. And he's going to say, hey, I'm going to play keep away now.
Yeah, I'm going to run the ball, make you, make plays, which the Panthers defense did. They got a turnover when they needed it, but just couldn't do anything with it on that last series. So
the ball's going to rest at about the 9-yard line, and that's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. So let's see what the Panthers can do here.
Yeah, we always say this. We said it the other night in volleyball. It's not how you start the game, but it's always how you finish it. Let's see how the Panthers can finish tonight in the fourth quarter.
So the Panthers have had the ball 3 times. Twice on their own 25 where they punted, and once on their own 29 where they punted. And I'm not sure. I think most of them, they've all been 3 and outs, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, we got that first down on that first series. We did get a first down, but we couldn't, after we got it, then we got a false start and came back. So they're showing some replays of years,
some
old footage of Wimberley scoring against the Panthers there.
Some old Navarro Wimberley highlights that were both.
That was in Bernie. There's Bernie. There's the Alamo Dome.
Right.
Oh goodness.
Which is it's kind of neat that they they
kept that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're sitting there watching the jumbotron.
But
and it is a pretty good sized jumbotron now that they have here.
Yeah, they've got a new scoreboard and a new jumbotron. So, anyways, they're code redding it here tonight for the Texans. Anyways, so the ball at rest on the 9-yard line for the Texans, and it's going to bring up 2nd and goal. I'm sorry, they actually can get a first down inside the 5-yard line, about the 4-yard line of the Panthers. So let's see what we got. Trips to the near side, single receiver to the far side, and shotgun formation. Johnny Ball to the right. Oh, and a snap.
But there's flags everywhere.
But
false start.
And it was a bad snap as well, which is unfortunate.
5-yard penalty.
Because it almost looks like Landon Taylor might have been able to get back there and jump on that. But, it was a poor snap. So.
Yeah, I was hoping that would be the case. A bad snap, Panthers pick it up, go score, and we got this thing all tied up. Let's do it.
Changes everything.
Yeah. I was about to get really excited there until they were blowing the whistles, throwing the flags. But the flags are advantage for the Panthers. Is now Wimberley basically 2nd down and 11.
So shotgun formation, no backs in the backfield. He looks to the right. He throws a skinny post, and that is a touchdown. I was just making sure he caught that ball, and he sure enough did. He sure did. And I'm trying to see the number on that.
Yeah, I couldn't even pick up the number. It looks like number 4.
Oh, that's True Couch,
Yeah,
and
Couch.
He has not played much, but I tell you what, he's an excellent receiver for the past couple of years for Wimberley.
Yeah, he's one of your smaller receivers, but he went down to the ground to get that one and picked it up.
Now the kick is up, and it is good, and Wimberley has scored 21 straight points and now leads 21-7 with 11:56 left here in the fourth quarter.
And essentially the Wimberley Texans are doing it playing power football. And it's nothing fancy, just basically throwing it here. I mean, throwing it every once in a while, but it's been Stover and Johnny Ball making the big plays.
So, I tell you what, it's a time where, you've got to make a decision, I guess, if you're the coaches for Navarro. You've got about 12 minutes left. You can probably still stay in your base offense.
Right.
But we've got to start moving the ball a little bit.
Now there's got to be a sense of urgency.
Right.
And the Panthers, if you get the score though here, I mean you're right back in the ball game. But being 2 scores down, it really hurts a slot T team because they usually can't make up that much yardage and scoring in a short period of time. So the Panthers will have to, if they can get a quick score, McBain breaking it out or something to that effect, like we saw in the first quarter.
So the Panthers do have 3 players back. And the Texans will kick it deep again to Cropper, who again calls for a fair catch. So they're consistent there, kicking it to the same man. But the Panthers will take over at their own 25-yard line.
And obviously that's by design because they feel like that Cropper is not the dangerous return man that, which we've seen him have some good returns throughout the year. Maybe not great returns, but good returns. And so some of these, though, you think, does he have enough room or not? So, I mean, you might have to start taking chances hopefully Wimberley's not kicking it off anymore.
So he hands off. It is up the middle, and he looks like Mabane coming to the right side here. I'm sorry, to Navarro's left side, back towards us. But anyways, Mabane gains about 4 yards on the play, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and I thought he was doing a good job of trying to read his blocks and finding the seam. And it's just Wimberley did a good job of closing it up pretty quick. But still, for the Panthers, getting the 4 yards or so is still a good running play.
Right. It is. And the thing is, you'd like to see him churn off about 8 or 9 each play. And Chambers, and he slips down, and it looks like he had a little bit of room. That was the same play that we've had quite a bit of success on tonight.
Right.
And but he does slip and fall. Otherwise, I think he probably would have been close to another Panther first down.
Yeah, and you wonder how his foot was taped, because if that tape's on the outside of the shoe, that sometimes is a cause for you to slip, because it doesn't let your cleats, get all the way through that tape, and if you hit it just wrong, it slips. I've seen it time and time again. You even see it in the pros.
Right, so 3rd and about 5. They go back there's a late flag.
And so they're
actually a couple of flags on the play.
Right. Yeah,
but Null kept it going to the right side there. And the blocking just was not there.
Yeah, so I don't know. There was a flag all the way out here. I know Colton Chambers was out blocking one of the players, the safety for Wimberley. I don't know if it was Patek he was blocking. And then we had another flag, and it looks like it's going against the Panthers.
Yeah, the Texan players are pretty fired up. So
dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
We don't get a number there, but another penalty hurting the Panthers. So that's going to bring up. Yeah,
it's 4th down. I was like,
it's 4th down. They're going to bring in the punt team.
Well, and they called it a dead ball foul. That's why it is 4th down, and you don't replay the down after the play.
Landon Taylor is out to punt again for the 4th time this half.
Oh my goodness!
And he's standing very close to his own goal line, about the 1-yard line, it looks like.
There's a delay here as they're trying to explain to Coach Blunt. I mean, there was 3 officials all around Coach Blunt, in that conference.
Right. So the Texans are Lane Patek. He's standing about his own 44-yard line, and the kick is up. And he's just getting away from it, and he does go out of bounds. And the Texans will have excellent field position inside the Panther territory.
Now, if the Panthers can get a quick break, you got to hope that you can get a scooper score, you can get a pick 6, something to that effect, and, to get this back into a winnable game, because right now, the way the Panthers are playing, they're not able to move the ball, and they haven't stopped the Texans in the last 2 series. Or the last series, I should say.
So the Texans will have the ball on the Panther 35-yard line, 1st and 10. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Shotgun formation, Johnny Ball to the right. He does hand it to Johnny. Johnny's off, and a nice tackle.
Johnny Ball with a carry out beyond the 30-yard line.
And I'm trying to see who that was. I want to say probably Caden Tolliver. No, I think that was Nick Schwartzlosey. Yes,
yeah, Nick Schwartzlosey. Good tackle.
Good, nice tackle.
Yeah.
got him low, and
yeah, that's what you like to see.
but it wasn't before. He gained about 6 yards, so 2nd and 4. And Wimberley's taking their time here. They're just letting the clock tick down. We've got 9:44 remaining here in the 4th quarter. And they're taking the play clock down all the way down to about inside 5 seconds. He hands it, he fakes it the ball. Stover keeps it. And he's close to another first down.
Yeah, Stover, again, doing a good job of managing this football game and managing his offense. I mean, we don't see him making any, mistakes out there that I could tell. I mean, it looks like he's making all the right decisions. He's, getting his team to move down the ball. He made only mistakes that I think he's made is maybe giving the ball when he should have kept it at times. But other than that, I mean, he's done a good job of managing the offense.
So 3rd down and about 1. He fakes it. Stover up the middle. He's got some room. He's got the first down. And he takes it inside the 20-yard line of the Panthers.
Yeah, that's classic Wimberley football there. And basically bringing your H-back and all from the right side, bringing them over to the left and just blocking ahead. And that was exactly that was done. You show an overload to the right and you take both of them and then you pull them around to the left. After you fake it to the back all at the same time. So that's classic Wimberley football.
So it's down to there's a timeout. A timeout by Navarro.
Timeout. Navarro.
And that's their first timeout of the half. They'll have 2 left.
8:18 remaining. So do we want to bring up the QR code? And we could talk about, again, the audiovisual club here at Navarro. They're getting started, and thanks to the Panther Posse that had the big donation of the cameras and all to get it started. But we need, donations to continue for the audiovisual club to have some of these live events that will be coming to you in the future, not only for football, but other events as well. So please donate, and it will go to the audiovisual club. And we'd like to thank those that have already donated as well. So, Lance, you think, if there's a will, there's a way, right? I always tell you that it's never over until it's over.
It's never over till it's over, but the Panthers are going to have to hold them here, if not make a big play.
Right.
Because I tell you, Wimberley's pulling a Navarro right now and holding on to the ball, keeping it all the way, running down the play clock. And
and 2 scores becomes more like 3 scores, when you do that.
And so Stover keeps it. He fakes the handoff. He doesn't get much there. Good play there by the Panthers defense. And they force him back inside. They did stay in their lanes that time.
Right.
And I think he gains 1, maybe 2 yards on maybe 1.5 on the play. So 2nd and at about 8.5, 9 yards.
Yeah, Landon Taylor just comes straight down the line and reads the play and is able to come all the way across to make that tackle. So I thought that was pretty amazing.
And I don't think Wimberley's going to do anything tricky, although they do throw a screen to the middle of the field. And I tell you what, it was to Johnny Ball, and they stay home. Jaden Gomez stays home this time and grabs Johnny Ball from behind for a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, when you feel like, hey, look, they're letting me go. Why are they letting me go? So Jaden Gomez did a good job of staying back and going, let me catch up to him, and got him from behind. Man, Wimberley is taking it. You get 40 seconds between each play. Once, really it's even before the ball can even be spotted. And that seems like an eternity when you're behind.
It does. 3rd and 7 here, though, for the Texans. And he pump fakes. He does throw it. It is caught. And
the ball's loose.
The ball's loose.
And the Panthers have it.
Panthers got it. It is caught and fumbled.
Boy, I was hoping somebody picked that up, take it all the way down. But I'll tell you what, I'll take what we can get right now. So that ball was caught, turned upfield. Nice big hit.
Popped hard.
Yeah.
And
Rocked back to the side, and the ball stayed right there as the body went flying. Didn't catch the receiver who had the ball. I wanted to say it looked like Birdson. So
I think you're right. And you know the thing is, the Panthers defense does their job there.
Right.
So they hand it off straight up the middle, and not sure who that was, but a nice gain there on first down to bring up. Looks like about 2nd and 6, so gain of 4 for the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers, I mean, now is the time you got to have a sense of urgency. I mean, you should have 2 plays called in the huddle.
And they hand it off, and it goes to the outside there. A gain, it looks like a gain of about 2 yards for the Panthers.
Yeah, they're going to need more than that, that's for sure, on the yardage. Because, I mean, Wimberley is still, they're keeping everybody, like you said, only one linebacker back essentially. They're bringing everybody else on a line of scrimmage. If you can get to that 2nd or 3rd level, you can see the Panthers with a big play.
So 3rd and about 3, almost 4 yards. And Bryce, Bain to this side, he's got the first down and a lot of room, and he just runs out of bounds, but not before he gets out past the 30-yard line.
Mark it out to 33.
And out to the 33-yard line here for the.
He gets good yardage now and then gets out of bounds, stops the clock. And Panthers, now here's where I'm talking about. You get a chance like this, call 2 plays in the huddle or have 2 plays, run them back to back.
So Bryce rolls out. He's got a receiver open. It's tipped. And it's almost caught.
Yeah, on the rebound, man.
On the rebound, I think that's Bo Brumley. But he was trying to hit Mabane, and the ball was tipped.
Yeah.
And almost on the deflection, it looks like Bo Brumley almost grabbed it, but didn't quite come up with it. So that just stopped the clock with 5:41 here left in the 4th quarter. Wimberley up 21-7. They pitch it this time, and man, the Texans read that. He does a good job just to fight his way. He's still going to lose yardage on it, but almost trying to fight his way back up to the first down. But man, he loses. Looks like 2 yards, so 3rd and 12.
Yeah, was that a pitch? It looked like a pitch out to Cohen Blunt.
Yeah, it did. Exactly.
And
but we've never seen that.
No, and I mean Wimberley was already in the backfield, as soon as he had the pitch. So that play, like you said, was read by Wimberley.
So he hands it off. Chambers, he's got some room. He's off to the races, and he's running to the 40 to the 30.
He's cutting in.
He cuts it back. And he's pushed out of bounds at about the 10-yard line.
Yep. Good job by Chambers. We just talked about it. Go cut it up inside, and then you can see what happens. Don't go out of bounds right away. And he got an extra 4 or 5 yards out of that. So
at the 10-yard line.
So here's the offense.
Here we go. 1st and goal. They hand it off up the middle, and he's blocked, and
we got a guy in the way.
He's standing in the way there, a Wimberley fan, maybe on purpose. But yeah, so no gains. That's going to make up 2nd and 10 for the Panthers, and 4:20 and counting here in the 4th quarter. So he hands it off, and it's Mabane.
He's got some room.
He's going to be outside, and he's going to score.
He's in.
He uses his speed, gets outside, and that's a Panther touchdown.
Yeah, Mabane. Hey, you get him to the outside, you see what happens and everything. So. So now this is a critical extra point right here.
Yeah, it's just huge, and there's.
I hate to. No, please don't jinx it, Hank. Please, no.
So it looks like Wimberley jumps off sides. The kick is up and good, but let's see what the call is. You know, it
it's
it
defense.
is offsides.
I mean, I don't think you take the point off. You take, if he would have missed it, that would have been different. But, I'd take the point. Now I would not even go in and try for a 2-point because this game is too tight. If the Panthers now, I don't know. Lance, let's talk about this. Onside or not? Do you kick it deep? And we've seen them return the ball very well,
I think if you kick it deep, you've got to kick it in a gap. You can't kick it to a man. And I think you're very choosy with your kicker here. You got to kick it to the guy who can kick it the furthest, which I think is Landon Taylor at this point.
Yeah, and I would say you're going against the wind, too. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're going with the wind.
You got the wind.
So if you have the wind, I still say you keep it inside the numbers. Like you said, you can find the gaps, but get it actually outside the numbers is what I meant to say. They get it outside the numbers, get it deep. If it happens to go out of bounds, great. If not, you still pin them to the sideline. You don't let them get out of that sideline. So as you see, you got the 30-yard line between the 30 and 20. But if you can kick it out to the 10-yard line right now, you have.
And it doesn't look like Wimberley's expecting an onside kick. It is Blackburn. It is an onside kick, and he
doesn't get the bounce that he wants. Doesn't get the bounce
that he normally gets. And Wimberley does a good job about coming up and jumping on it.
Yeah, good hands up front. Was that Potek up front?
It might have been Potek again. I couldn't tell. I was looking. But they're going to have the ball right at the 50.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. So now the Wimberley Texans, though, they're going to play, ball control again, but they've made some uncharacteristic mistakes that we haven't seen, Wimberley make in the past. And the Panthers are, playing physical. They can make things happen.
So they hand it off up the middle. It's Johnny Ball, and he gets a host of yards there, and a host of Panthers bring him down as well. But, yeah, not before about 8 yards for Johnny Ball. So.
Yeah, and that was essentially a scrum going right up the middle, and you've got right now. I don't see Wimberley having on that right side as big a line as that. You would see Stover, I would think, off the left side where they have their bigger linemen. With I pointed out earlier, Schroyer and Romo being the bigger two on the left side.
So there's 3 minutes and 28 seconds and counting, and the play clock is down to 3 before they snap it. Stover, he runs to the outside, and he is drugged down. Great tackle there. And Nick Swartzlosey again.
Yeah.
And he's made a couple of great tackles here in the last 2 plays. So
wow,
kudos to him. And he keeps him just short of the first down. Going to bring up a, 3rd and about 3.
Yeah, big play right now. We got to get the troops in get the troops together and let's go. Now, I am sure Wimberley's will more than likely go 2 plays unless they want to pin the Panthers back even farther if they don't make this 3rd down. So here we go, Panthers.
So shotgun formation. Stover keeps it. He's got some room, but he's short
where they're marking it on this side.
Yeah, he is short of the 40.
Yeah, the linesman over here got it short and the head linesman. So who takes the timeout? I'm sure the Panthers will, unless they're going to measure. Let's see. No, we didn't hear anything from the official yet, so let's see. Here's the call.
Timeout, Navarro.
Okay, so
please, 2 minutes, 32 seconds on the clock.
So 2 minutes, 32 seconds would be on the clock. So, wow, Lance, I'm up here shaking. It's a 4th down and a foot to go here for Wimberley, and I would bet Wimberley still sticks with Stover in the zone read. I don't think they're going to do anything like that would take and become a disastrous play. You throw it down the field and an interception happens or something crazy like that. So That's my predictions. I'm playing Tony Romo here. I'm saying they've been going with it, all night, and usually on that left side, Stover, will probably pull it and then take off.
Right. I can't imagine that they would throw the ball here. I mean, worst case scenario is you don't get the first down.
Right.
But you keep the clock running here and kill a few more, 20 seconds or so with the run play. But yeah, a big play here for the Panthers. 4th and, and it's really less than a yard. If you look at where the nose of the ball is probably a half yard, I'd say. And so let's see. They
let's see if
they can almost just put 5 wide outs and not even have a running back in there. So
well, the Panthers need to claw their way to a stop here.
We need some penetration in the backfield here on 4th down.
Watch these two go all the way off on the right side. 2 backs line up. They go to the left.
Almost looks like a power set.
Overload right. Yep.
And or maybe they're trying to draw the Panthers off sides.
Yeah. But they were exactly doing that. But
so first time out there for the Texans. They've got 2 left.
Wow. Well, I do have one announcement is that the band will be in regionals next Saturday. And also just make sure to check the calendars on check the events that are listed at NISD.us on the high school page. And check that out as well, as the band will be in regionals, not this Saturday, but next Saturday in Corpus.
All right, so 4th down, they can still go for this.
Yeah, Panthers will play safe defense no matter if the punt team comes out or not. Or if you're Stover, remember they tried that quick kick. You could possibly see a quick kick to try to get it pinned inside the 10. But this is a big play either way as you look at it.
And that's what we do see.
The overload right.
Same formation. They are going to run it. Stover, he's got a ton of pressure, and he's going to be brought down. Heck of a play there by the Panthers. And Stover was eaten up, trying to just run it. Almost looked like an option play without a running back. And just
unbelievable.
Power formation to the right side. And, the Panthers got a ton of pressure and penetration. And
Chapa was one of those back there. Chapa normally is playing that safety position, and he's all the way inside running down Stover on that play, one of those in the backfield. It was just a great team effort by the defense.
So it's going to come down. 2:27 left here in the 4th. He hands it off. Colton Chambers. But no. And it looks like the ball is loose.
Yep, and Wimberley comes up with it.
And Wimberley has recovered. So on the very first play from scrimmage.
Oh, it just did not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he didn't get the handoff.
And the penetration that we could see on the replay on YouTube is that there was a lot of penetration at the point of where the ball was being handed off by Wimberley. So, we start all over again. But, Panthers are down, I believe, to only 1 timeout remaining in this second half.
Yes.
And
They've taken 2 timeouts.
So now the Panthers will have to play, just looking to strip the football on every play.
So Stover keeps it, fakes the handoff. He's brought down, but Jacob Arias, but not before he gets really close. And he's just short of a first down. He's going to bring up 2nd and short.
Now,
so the Panthers elect to keep their timeout. There's 2 minutes left here in the game. And
I'm sorry.
No, and the play clock still got 20 seconds on it, so 1:50. So they won't snap it till probably close to 1.5 minutes left here.
Well, this has been every bit the game that we thought it would be, except the score is not quite what I wanted it to be. But right now, this is a fun football game to watch.
So Stover keeps it again. The Panthers bottle him up, but he is going to have a first down. And There's a minute 29 here left.
Yeah.
They wind the clock for the first down.
This is probably, if we don't take a timeout anywhere here, I mean, this is going to be, I'm trying to do the calculations with 40.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's going to be enough time at all. The Panthers can take this time out, but even after two knees, then that's going to be the end of the football game. So,
1 minute, 15 seconds on the clock.
but again, we have to thank all the students on the Audiovisual Club for making this happen, and Monticello with Javier and Marina to make it happen. And there's the QR code for any donations that you'd like to make to the Audiovisual Club and the students here at Navarro High School. And we'll try to eventually be able to branch out a little bit more and more as time goes on and get more events to you, as hopefully the Audiovisual Club will expand, but it won't be able to expand without your help. So if you have the chance to donate, please do so. We appreciate it very much. And thank you for tuning in this great game as well, because, I mean, it's been a tight defensive game, more of a defensive game than I would have even imagined, Lance. Yeah. I thought, we're going to see 40 points put on the board at least by both teams.
Yeah, it's been an exciting game, and they're just going to kneel it because the Panthers don't have any more timeouts.
Right, and that'll go from 40 seconds. So 40 and 40, and it's only at second down, so that's going to be the end of this game once it gets inside the 10 seconds of the play clock. Sad to say. I mean,
right.
I'm over here almost like, I really wanted this one. And this is probably for the 13-4A Division II District Championship, because, I mean, really, Wimberley has only, Lago Vista that out of the group to play that could be competitive. Now, we could still end up in a three-way tie.
We could.
If Lago Vista upsets Wimberley, but that's going to be pretty much the end of the game with the clock running down and the teams lining up on the 50. With the score, 21-14, Wimberley winning tonight over the Navarro Panthers. Your Navarro Panthers.
Yeah, that is the ball game tonight. So we might see Wimberley again here in the playoffs, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we hope so. I mean, if we could get that far and, they end up first and second, we could pay them back.
Right.
We'll pay them back once we get in the playoffs,
That's right.
But, Wimberley is always, that type of team that no matter, they fight it out on the field, but, after the game, they respect each other, and both these teams respect each other coming in and going out.
Yeah, great rivalry. Another nice, great game here tonight in Wimberley, Texas, from Texan Stadium.
Yeah, Texan.
Not Texas Stadium. That's long gone. But Texan Stadium. But yeah. The Panthers come up here on the short side, but played a tough game. And man, I would have loved to have seen what would happen there on that last drive. But didn't work out for the Panthers tonight. And
well,
I'm gonna sign off from my perspective here and run over there and get on the Navarro side. But,
we'll let you go spend some time with your son. You've been up here all this time and doing a great job at it, Lance. So thank you very much for always tuning in. I mean, for everybody out there, but we're going to take a quick break here. But Lance, go down there, enjoy yourself, and enjoy this time with your son.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break and show you the diamond sponsors of the Panther Posses. So you're watching Panther football on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse. Panthers, sad to say, took one on the chin tonight, losing 21-14 to the Wimberley Texans, but it was a fun game, physical game. And tonight we're going to give the player of the game. We usually give that to the winning team, in which we are tonight, and that's going to be number 2, the sophomore from Wimberley Texans, Cody Stover. He was the quarterback that had a hand in every single touchdown that was made tonight, 2 in the air and then 1 on the ground. So the 3 touchdowns, he had a hand in every one of them. And so we're going to give player of the game tonight will be to Cody Stover of Wimberley. And one thing that me and Lance talked about just briefly before he left was the fact that Stover was able to make plays, and he was able to manage the game well without making any mistakes. I think he was able to take and construct drives that would go down the field without any major hiccups. And so he didn't throw the ball away. He took some good hits by the Panthers as well, and was able to drive the team down the field and make those touchdowns in the second half especially. So, our player game, again, for the Panther Posse will go to Cody Stover. So congratulations to him. But we did talk about the Panthers as well. I mean, McBain having the 2 touchdowns tonight. The 39-yarder was one of the big plays, and then I believe he had a 14-yarder as well. So he had 2 touchdowns tonight for McBain. And so having McBain in the lineup again still was a big difference. And more than likely, I only see one other team that may be a spoiler, and that may be Sinton in the region. But I would bet to see Wimberley again in the playoffs. If Wimberley goes 1 in district and we go number 2 in district, we'll be on opposite sides of the brackets when we talk about in the playoffs. So, also, I'm waiting right now to see if Mr. Scott Kibby gets over here. Once he gets here, I will be able to go over the stats with him as well with you. So, and then what I'd also like to talk about is tonight is the band will be the Navarro High School band will be in regionals as they've done well this year, and they're going to be down in Corpus and regionals, not tomorrow, but the following Saturday. So make sure to look at all the look at the website and Facebook page on Navarro High School's Facebook page, and you will see all the things you need to see, and the band booster page. Don't forget about that as well, as you can tune in to that or go to that and see the see all the times and everything that will take place. So congratulations to the Navarro High School band too for making it to regionals, as they did get a Division I in area. So, all right. Well, I'm going to be getting ready to take a little quick break here, and then we'll be right back with Scott Kibby talking about the stats. So just stay tuned for a moment as you're watching Panther football on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse. All right, we're back here at Texan Stadium where the Panthers fall to the Wimberley Texans 21-14. And we have now joining me is Scott Kibby. Scott Kibby, thank you for joining me here after the game on our postgame show with the Panther Posse postgame show. So, well, I guess we'll talk about the stats first, and then we'll talk about the future of the Panthers in this year. So.
All right. The Panthers tonight, 9 first downs, 46 rushes for 268 yards, no passing yards, 0 out of 4 attempts, 6 punts for 32-yard average, 1 fumble and lost it their last play.
At a critical time.
At a critical time. 6 penalties, almost all at critical times for 45 yards. Leading rusher Chambers, 13 for 127, Mebane 13 for 104, and 2 touchdowns. Wimberley, 15 first downs, 37 rushes for 216 yards, 169 passing yards on 12 out of 15 attempts. There were 6 out of 6 in the second half on passing. 2 punts for 23.5 average, 2 fumbles, lost both, 4 penalties for 40 yards. Ball ends the night with 11 carries for 110 yards. Stover, 21 for 90.
Okay, Stover for how many yards rushing did you say? 90?
90.
Yeah, 90 yards. So I gave, and Lance did, as we were leaving, we gave it to Stover. I almost wanted to say Matt Stover because wasn't that his older brother, I believe, or one of them? But I could be wrong.
He's a kicker.
Maybe
Stover
a kicker.
one time,
yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody
Yeah.
else. But Cody Stover, it was the player of the game for Wimberley because not only the fact that he had a hand in every touch of the 3 touchdowns that Wimberley had, he had a hand in it. Plus, he managed the game well and no mistakes that from Stover himself.
Early on, I questioned his decision making. He made the bad one on the interception. Thought
Right.
being a sophomore, maybe that you might have some of that with not having the pressure. As the game went on, though, he really got a feel for it. He was just a terror for the Panthers to try to bring down, even when they got pressure on him and getting around. Yeah. He creates a lot of problems. I thought he looked good passing. I
Right.
didn't see a bad, other than the interception, I didn't see a really bad throw from him.
Now, really, the only thing I saw from our defense that if I had to correct anything would be the tackling. I mean, we saw some bad tackling again, and breaking tackles. Johnny Ball in that one, he was, right at the line of scrimmage or behind the line. It looked like 2 or 3 Panthers had him, and then he breaks free. And that happened too many times. That was just one example, but I think that happened too many times tonight.
Yeah, tackling was very bad, especially in the second half. Until that last series, when they had him after the onside kick, the tackling was fantastic.
Right.
So you can do it.
Exactly.
You come out of this knowing what you can. No question, the way the game ended, had Wimberley gone down and scored, gone up 28-7, the taste you get in your mouth coming out of this game feels very different.
Right.
If that happens, but instead they battled back. They had a chance. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see what was going to happen on that last drive.
Right.
But you have to feel a lot better than in some of the recent games.
Right.
Wimberley.
And the Panthers only made that one mistake as far as I would say as far as turnovers go. And that's the one that always seems to come back to haunt you because that happened in the last attempt that you were going to have to try to tie the ball game. But, this had a playoff atmosphere and looked very much like a playoff game because both teams actually are so familiar with each other that's what we saw tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it felt more. We talked about these games tended to go one way or the other. They tend to be very lopsided.
Right.
But
right.
tonight was more what you
Right.
you want from this series. You want to see these two good
Right.
teams battling, going back and forth with momentum as it did tonight. I think both teams grew up a lot tonight.
Right.
And
right.
we'll see. Very easily could be seeing them again in 7 weeks.
Yeah, that's what we talk about.
We will see how they develop over that time.
Right. If we see each other in the regional finals, that's where I would expect to see it because each team will be on the other side of the bracket. And only team I don't want to jinx it, but the only team I feel, 2 teams out there actually, I should say, Sinton. I still think that Sinton's a very good football team. Maybe not quite as good as they were last year, but they're still a good football team. And Lago Vista, could come back and make a good run as well. So those 2 teams, we'll meet them at one point before we can meet Wimberley. So that just gets you ready. You got to beat the best to be the best.
It does, and Lago Vista can throw a wrench in this next week.
Right. Yeah.
Wimberley's got to
if
go
we
up
got
there.
three-way tie.
And the Panthers will have the advantage, will at least be one of the top 2 spots on points because they beat Lago by 21, where they only lose by 7 tonight. That's another reason it was good to make that comeback at the end in case you need it.
Right, exactly. So next week, Austin Achieve. The Panthers travel there to Austin to play the Polar Bears. And so, as I saw tonight, I thought Lago Vista was up 60-0 at halftime. So I kind of just stopped, tuning into that game. So, I mean, we expect the same from the Panthers over the Polar Bears next week. But how do you focus and not skip to the next game?
I think you go back to getting better every week, everything. What are we going to do this week? What do we do against the Chief that gets us better at what we need to do later? I would not expect a lot of time from the starters. I would not, especially anyone who's had any issues with injuries or may not be at 100%. You're not going to need them.
Okay.
And so you just try to keep them getting better, work on some depth.
And work on some tackling it.
And some tackling, yeah, for sure. And I think, I know Coach Blunt did not like having these 2 games at the end.
Right.
But, you can play it like
it is what
like
it
got
is.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing your article in the Sunday edition of the Seguin Gazette. And thanks for joining us tonight with the wonderful stats and the information you give. So thanks. Yes. All right, folks. Well, that'll do it. We're gonna leave you now as we're going to be tuning out here from Wimberley, Texas, where the Texans unfortunately beat the Panthers 21-14 tonight. So we wish you all the best, and please be safe if you're listening as you're traveling home from Wimberley as well. But God bless everyone, and we will see you next week and hear from us at Austin Achieve. So stay tuned for that game. So you were watching Panther football on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse.